That's the string. Long Chen had just left when the voice of Chen Kuan-ding rang in Long Chen's mind. "Senior, are you awake?" Hearing Chen Kuan-ding's voice, Long Chen was immediately surprised and happy. "Well, I finally digested the sacred attribute of the power of faith, and you just happened to use me to resist the string, so I woke up," Chen Kuan-ding said. "That turned out to be a string?" Long Chen's heart was pounding. "The power of a string is so terrifying. Is it on the same level as you? There is the breath of the heavenly demon harp on the string, but that breath is not real. If I guess correctly, this string should be like the Yaoyue Ding, a divine weapon made in imitation of the heavenly demon harp," Chen Kuan-ding said. "In other words, the Qin sect is making a new heavenly demon harp?" Long Chen's face changed slightly. Thinking of the heavenly demon harp, Long Chen thought of Ziyen. When he met Ziyen for a while, Long Chen learned that Ziyen had signed a soul contract with the heavenly demon harp. However, this soul contract is different from the recognition of the master of Chen Kuan-ding, and Chen Kuan-ding does not know what the contract between one person and one harp is. "That string should be buried there to absorb fear," Chen Kuan-ding said. Hearing Chen Kuan-ding's words, Long Chen suddenly realized. The 7 strings convey the 7 emotions: joy, anger, worry, thought, sadness, fear, and shock. They deliberately attracted endless monsters, cut off support, and let people die in fear and despair to refine this string. What a vicious heart. When he said the latter, Long Chen couldn't help but grit his teeth. He didn't expect that the Qin sect of the 4 ancient sects, who were high above, were so vicious. When he thought about it, they were obviously sure of victory, but they still wore masks and dared to do it but not to take responsibility. Long Chen felt sick. The Qin sect's methods are amazing. A single string has such terrifying power. Isn't the whole Qin even more terrifying? Long Chen said. Chen Kuan-ding's voice became low. Because the owner of the heavenly demon harp was originally the ancestor of the Qin sect. All the runes of the heavenly demon harp are in the hands of the Qin sect. Therefore, it is not surprising that the Qin sect has done its best to create a replica. After the Chaos War, the 10 great chaos artifacts were basically seriously injured and eventually had to fall into a deep sleep, but the heavenly demon harp was different. It was not seriously injured and did not fall into a deep sleep directly. However, for some unknown reason, it eventually escaped from the control of the Qin sect and disappeared. No one knows the secret. The Qin sect created a new heavenly demon harp. I think on the one hand, they need a peerless magic weapon to suppress their luck, and on the other hand, they may find the real heavenly demon harp through the replica. Finding the real heavenly demon harp. Could it be? Long Chen was shocked, because he had heard that when he massacred the city, countless human race strongmen followed him. In addition to silently reciting, Long Chen also received a lot of news from old friends, and the performance of other human race geniuses. Long Chen also heard about it. At that time, Long Chen heard that a woman holding a guqin also participated in the massacre of aliens. The woman hid her aura and wore a mask. At first, Long Chen thought that Liao Yuhuang of the Qin sect had taken action. But now that he heard this news, Long Chen suddenly had a hunch that the person who took action should be Ziyen. It was because Ziyen took action that the Qin sect became alert. Perhaps it was from Ziyen that the Qin sect sensed the aura of the heavenly demon Qin. So they used such means to temper the strings. So, Ziyen is in danger. Long Chen's heart tightened in an instant. This damn Qin sect. Long Chen couldn't help but clench his fists, wishing he could kill Qin's sect right now and knock them down. However, his current strength is not enough to fight against a giant like Qinzong. The 4 ancient sects are all very low-key. They have been developing secretly for countless years. No one knows how strong they have become. To temper a string of Qin, 2 emperors of the 3rd level of heaven can be mobilized. From this, it can be seen how terrifying Qinzong's foundation is. Moreover, with the revival of the spiritual energy of heaven and earth and the perfection of the laws, the group of old guys who survived the chaotic era have woken up from hibernation and began to recover their strength quickly. Without knowing the strength of the opponent, rashly launching a challenge will not only fail to solve the problem, but also put oneself in danger. Long Chun, don't worry. The road must be taken step by step. I have woken up. Next, I will start to help you refine the human emperor pill and quickly impact the realm. When the realm is raised, coupled with the training of the physical body, it will be twice the result with half the effort. Chen Ding comforted. Long Chun nodded. Now the whole world is in chaos, undercurrents are surging. But his power is not strong enough now, and he can't control this terrifying turbulence. He had to improve his strength quickly, because he not only had to face those old guys who recovered their strength quickly, but also those contemporaries who rose rapidly. He found a secluded place, and the Chen Ding was suspended above the void. Various precious medicines flew out of the chaotic space and entered the ding one by one. The flames rose, Long Chun formed seals with both hands, and the power of the soul burst out, controlling the flames to start refining the elixir. The human emperor pill requires more than 3,600 kinds of precious medicines, and there are as many as 19 main medicines alone, 1 monarch and 18 ministers. This is equivalent to a monarch commanding a team of more than 3,000 people, with clear division of labor and mutual cooperation. The difficulty of refining the human emperor pill is very high, which can be called abnormal. Even with Long Chen's alchemy skills, Huolinger's powerful flames, and the cooperation of Chen Ding, he still had to be careful and not distracted at all. Because the initial alchemy is very important, it is equivalent to the tacit understanding between Long Chun, Chen Ding, and Huolinger. The three of them must first accumulate a set of successful experiences, so that Huolinger can control the rhythm bit by bit. When Huolinger could gradually replace Long Chun, he would eventually kick Long Chun out, and Huolinger and Chen Ding would refine the elixir. Finally, Huolinger himself was also kicked out, leaving only a clone to cooperate with Chen Ding to refine the elixir. Only in this way could Long Chun and Huolinger be released, without wasting precious energy and time on refining the elixir. However, this first step was difficult. After refining more than a dozen furnaces of elixir, they could only barely reach the best quality but could not reach the best quality because the gap between the best quality and the best quality was too big, and Long Chun had to refine the best quality elixir. It was not until 3 days later that Chen Ding roared and exploded, with thousands of streams of light and the fragrance of the elixir, that it finally refined the best quality treasure elixir level human emperor elixir. With this experience, Long Chun refined more than a dozen furnaces of elixir in a row before he pulled himself out and let Huolinger and Chen Ding refine the elixir. Now, Long Chun has more than 100 best quality treasure elixir in his hand. Each treasure elixir looks ordinary, but in fact, it is covered with a layer of elixir clothing that isolates the way of heaven. Without this layer of Dan-yi, these top-grade precious pills in Long Chen's hand would eventually be destroyed by the power of heaven, leaving only one. This is the origin of the top-grade pills. Let's start. Long Chun grabbed a handful of pills and stuffed them directly into his mouth. As long as he could advance to the second level of the human emperor, his strength would soar again when the barrier was broken. In that way, the gravity runes of the 2 silver bars could be activated, and in this way he would completely open the door to life. Ziyan, wait for me. Boom! There was a loud explosion in Long Chen's body, and his aura suddenly surged a lot. The violent imperial aura instantly swept his body. Human Emperor Second Heaven. Long Chun clenched his fist, swallowed more than 200 human emperor pills, and directly advanced to the human emperor Second Heaven. After the breakthrough, Long Chen's aura became more domineering. This is a kind of sublimation, a very obvious sublimation. Unlike constantly stimulating the body with gravity runes, that kind of sublimation is extremely slow and gradual. Breakthrough is to step onto a new level in one step, and the impact it brings to people is huge. Hoo. Long Chun directly activated the gravity runes of the 2 silver bars and swung dozens of fists in the air continuously. The silver bars with amazing gravity are nothing to Long Chun. Although it cannot be said to be light as a feather, the gravity runes of the 2 silver bars will not bring much restrictions to Long Chun. This is a breakthrough, simple and direct, all-round improvement, directly pulling people to a whole new height. You have to hurry up and improve, Chen Ding said. Long Chen nodded, because in the four-party alliance, Long Chen found that many young emperors had already entered the middle stage of the emperor, and they were only one step away from advancing to the 6th level of the emperor, and they would enter the late stage of the emperor. Now that the world has changed, people's cultivation speed is amazing. Long Chen's cultivation speed was slow to begin with. If he doesn't work harder, he will soon be left behind. The gate of life open! Long Chen shouted and opened the gate of life directly. As he expected, when his body could fully bear the weight of 2 silver bars, the power of the gate of life could be controlled. Endless star power poured into Long Chen's body from the gate of life, but after a few breaths, Long Chen had to close the gate of life. Because if he didn't fight, this endless star power would keep pouring into Long Chen's body. If it accumulated too much, Long Chen's body would not be able to bear it. This kind of power must be released in battle. Although there is no emperor of the 3rd level to practice with, Long Chen believes that the general emperor of the 3rd level is no match for him. However, if he encounters the terrifying strongman that Long Zhantian killed before, it might be a little tricky. However, even if he can't win, he may not lose. Even if he really loses, Long Chen can retreat unscathed. In this way, Long Chen's survival is greatly guaranteed, which makes him feel full of confidence. Buzz, buzz, buzz. At this moment, a jade card on Long Chen's waist flashed rapidly. It's Chen Duoduo. Long Chen was shocked. Chen Duoduo has a special identity and is mixed in Longting business. For safety, Long Chen told him not to contact him unless it's important. If Longting business finds out, it will be troublesome. Ha! Long Chen opened the jade card. There were 4 words written on the jade card. Xiao Qian is in trouble. And then a map appeared, with a location marked on the map. When Long Chen saw the 4 words, Xiao Qian is in trouble, his head buzzed. Chen Duoduo was cautious and careful in doing things. Otherwise he would not have been able to get to the top of Longting business. He only passed on 4 words without further explanation. It is very likely that the matter has been extremely serious. Senior, help me. Long Chen directly interrupted Chen Ding's alchemy. Chen Ding also knew the seriousness of the problem. After Long Chen identified the direction, divine light descended from Chen Ding's body, wrapping Long Chen and disappearing from the spot in an instant. In front of me is a world of collapse, with gullies and mountains collapsing. It used to be a chaotic battlefield, where countless powerful people were buried. The mountains here are of different colors, and the rivers are flashing with strange divine light. These colors are all dyed by the blood of the emperor. After endless years, the color has not faded. People have given this place a name, the land of the emperor's fall. It is rumored that countless emperors have fallen here, and even the body of the god emperor is sleeping here. This is a treasure land, but also a dangerous land. Among the mountains and valleys, there are countless divine weapons buried. The vegetation nourished by the blood of the emperor has spirituality and grows divine medicine. And those big demon birds that swallowed the blood of the emperor and survived by chance have become extremely terrifying. Not to mention the powerful emperors, even the emperors entering here is a life or death situation, so this is also a dangerous land. Although there are many treasures, most of them are legends, because few people who enter the land of the emperor's fall can come out alive. The land of the emperor's fall was once a holy land that only appeared once every millions of years in the 9 heavens. However, although the Holy Land was famous, few people were interested in it. Because the probability of returning alive after entering it was too low, the land of the Emperor's fall was not well known among the countless secret realms in the 9 heavens. However, this land of the Emperor's fall, which was almost forgotten by people, returned to the 9 heavens directly from the cracks in space when the 9 heavens revived. Its appearance attracted countless strong people to come and search for treasures. However, ideals are full and reality is cruel. At first, there was nothing in the outer area, and many people even obtained treasures from the Chaos era. But as people became more and more bold, they began to move deeper, and soon attracted a group of sky-fire demon ants. These sky-fire demon ants are the remnants of chaos and belong to strange beasts. Ordinary sky-fire demon ants are the size of wild dogs, and the leaders of the sky-fire demon ants are about the same size as cows. Their jaws are extremely hard, comparable to the Emperor's soldiers, and the jaws of the leader-level Skyfire demon ants can even bite through the Emperor's soldier-level armor. This kind of fierce insect, which had long been extinct in the 9 heavens and only existed in legends, flew out in an overwhelming manner, directly killing all the strong men who entered the Emperor's falling land. This was not the end. Some strong men ran fast and thought they had escaped a disaster, but the Skyfire demon ants actually chased them out and killed them in their sects, causing the entire sect to be completely destroyed. The Skyfire demon ants not only have powerful mouths, but can also spit out terrifying flames. There was a sect that had an ancestor of the 3rd heaven of the Emperor, but it was still destroyed. Since then, almost no one dared to enter the Emperor's falling land. The most important thing is that now that the spiritual energy has revived, everyone has ushered in a golden period of rapid growth in cultivation. They all plan to wait until their strength has increased to a certain level before exploring the Emperor's falling land. Today, the periphery of this dangerous place has become extremely lively, with countless strong men running back and forth in the periphery. Hurry up! The traces of the first demon clan have been found. Everyone hurry up and kill them. 1 head, 1 human emperor pill. Don't let others get ahead. Someone shouted excitedly, using the nameplate in his hand, shouting loudly at the strong men of his sect. Where are they? At this moment, a cold voice came. The man glanced at the other man and sneered. We, the Golden Tiger tribe, discovered it. Why? However, when the man saw the owner of the voice clearly, his face suddenly changed. Plop! The man's body fell to the ground and turned into a tiger covered with golden fur. Its huge body directly crushed the mountain. At this time, Long Chen's face became more and more gloomy. He learned from the strong man of the Golden Tiger clan that countless strong men gathered here, and their goal was to kill the strong men of the first demon clan. These strong men were all summoned by the Brahma lineage. The Brahma lineage exchanged the heads of the strong men of the first demon clan with the best human emperor golden pills. The human emperor pill was a fatal temptation for the geniuses of this generation. After all, not all practitioners were as difficult to advance as Long Chun. A best human emperor golden pill was enough to directly promote a strong man in the early stage of the human emperor to a higher level. It only took killing a few strong men of the first demon clan to obtain the human emperor golden pill, which was enough to promote a strong man in the middle stage of the human emperor to a higher level. The news released by the Brahma lineage said that there were millions of strong men in the first demon clan. Such a large scale was enough to make these guys completely crazy. The news from the Brahma lineage also mentioned that most of these powerful people of the beginning demon clan were powerful people of the human emperor, and they were all young masters. The rest were ordinary emperors of the older generation, as well as those of the first and second heavens of the emperor. As for the 3rd heaven of the emperor, there were only 7. The reward offered by the Brahma clan was based on the opponent's strength. The head of an ordinary emperor could be exchanged for a human emperor golden elixir. The ordinary emperor was 3, the first heaven of the emperor was 10, and the second heaven of the emperor was 20. As for the powerful people of the beginning demon clan of the emperor's 3rd heaven, for some reason no reward description was listed. The powerful person of the Golden Tiger clan that Long Chen killed had already killed 3 powerful people of the beginning demon clan. At this time, he was notifying the powerful people of his clan to go to a place to hunt down the powerful people of the beginning demon clan. Ha! Long Chun stretched out his hand and put the body of the Golden Tiger into the chaos space. The body of the powerful person of the 3rd heaven of the human emperor, who was also an emperor seedling, of course could not be wasted. Damn Brahma lineage and that bunch of lackeys. Since you want to die, I will grant your wish. Long Chun gritted his teeth. Thunder wings appeared behind him, and he flew straight to the place marked by the Golden Tiger clan. Xie, kill anyone you see. Okay. When Long Xie heard about killing, he was immediately excited. Get out of the way. This is our blood clan. As Long Chun was flying, a dozen blood clan strongmen suddenly appeared in front of him to block the way. They pointed at Long Chun with weapons and shouted loudly. It turned out that the major clans had divided the territory in order to hunt the first demon clan. It was not because they discovered the first demon clan strongmen, but to create obstacles for others and slow down their hunting speed. Puff, puff, puff. However, before these strongmen could finish their words, the sharp blades formed by endless petals tore through the void, shattered their armor, pierced their magic weapons, and the whole person was crushed into meat. Dragon Bone Evil Moon sensed the killing intent in Long Chen's heart, and it became more and more excited and more brutal. If it were normal, it would leave these people with intact bodies and let the black soil recycle them. But now, crushing them directly, perhaps only in this way can Long Chen vent his anger. Those who participated in the hunting were all elites of the Emperor Seedling level, masters among masters, but they were not good enough in front of Dragonbone Evil Moon. You dare to kill my Blood Clan disciples. You are so brave. Suddenly, there was a roar in front of the sky, and the Emperor's spirit was agitated. A group of emperors found that the disciples were killed and came to kill them at the first time. Long Chen, he is Long Chen, a strong emperor exclaimed. Long Chen's name can be said to resound throughout the 9 heavens, and not many people don't know it. When they recognized Long Chen's face, the group of people were shocked and angry, but before they could react, the petals in the sky were like angry dragons roaring. Puff, puff, puff. A group of emperors of the first and second heavens were killed in an instant, and blood flowers bloomed in the void. The scene was extremely cruel. Damn you little bastard! Suddenly, a roar came from the front, and then the world trembled, and the space was locked in an instant. The terrifying domain power pressed down like a mountain. It was a strong man from the 3rd level of the Emperor. He was a white-haired old man. His consciousness had been searching. He saw Long Chen coming and killed him at the first time. The gate of life open! Long Chen roared, and the violent power of the stars gathered in one fist and punched forward. What? The strong man from the 3rd level of the Emperor of the Blood Clan was horrified, and a strong breath of death rose from his heart. He had to give up his original tricks, and formed seals with his hands, summoning a ghost face shield to block in front of him, and the power of the Emperor body rushed into the shield crazily. This Emperor's weapon burst into a bloody divine light, and the ghost face seemed to come alive, making a piercing howling sound. With a loud bang, the howling sound disappeared. Starlight surged wherever the fist passed. The shield was blown up by a punch, turning into endless debris, punching holes in the void. Puff! The blood of the powerful Emperor of the 3rd level of the Emperor sprayed wildly and was directly blown away. He was terrified. The blood that sprayed out quickly condensed under his seal and instantly turned into more than a dozen clones, blocking his original body. Puff, puff, puff. Endless petals flew, and more than a dozen clones were all killed. But his original body seized the opportunity and escaped tens of thousands of miles away. Old ghost, you are lucky. Long Chen wanted to continue killing, but because he was worried about Yu Shaoqian, if he delayed the opportunity to rescue Yu Shaoqian, even if he killed this guy 1,000 times or 10,000 times, it would not make up for the regret in his heart. Long Chen gave up killing the old man and rushed forward quickly. The old man escaped from death and was so scared that his back was covered with cold sweat. He used his life shield to block Long Chen's attack, and his soul was greatly damaged. If Long Chen wanted to kill him, he would not even have a chance to escape. After saving his life, he seemed to be unable to recover, as if he had just had a nightmare. We must report this to others quickly. The old man disappeared in an instant. Long Chen flew forward all the way, because the Golden Tiger clan only knew the approximate location of the powerful people of the first demon clan and were gathering people to round them up. Long Chen held a communication token and kept correcting the direction. Obviously, the first demon clan was moving at a high speed, and it was very likely that they were fighting and retreating. Buzz, buzz, buzz. Long Chen's thunder wings trembled continuously, and the speed was extremely fast, flashing constantly. Sometimes when he encountered a strong person blocking him, he was too lazy to do it himself. Dragonbone Evil Moon would kill them directly, saving Long Chen time. After a few breaths, Long Chen finally joined a team of Golden Tiger Clan strongmen. Puff, puff, puff. After joining together, dozens of Golden Tiger Clan strongmen were instantly killed, and at this time, Long Chun had already sensed the breath of the first demon clan. After climbing over a dozen high mountains, Long Chun saw thousands of powerful members of the Shur-Mo clan, surrounded by countless powerful members. They stopped at this moment, and there was no way to escape. This group of Shur-Mo clan was discovered by our Kuanping clan. If others dare to take action, it will be regarded as a declaration of war against our Kuanping clan. At this moment, among the powerful members who were besieging the Shur-Mo clan, a group of people stood up, looked down on the countless powerful members around them, and shouted coldly, "The Kuanping clan is so arrogant, wanna eat alone? Aren't you afraid of breaking your teeth?" A powerful member sneered, obviously not convinced by the Kuanping clan. At this time, the Shur-Mo clan was trapped and had no way to escape. They were already in the bag. Now it depends on who can finally get the ownership. My Kuanping clan has always eaten alone. What? You, the heavenly demon golden monkey clan, don't accept it. The Emperor Miao strongman of the Kuanping clan had a look of contempt on his face. Puff! Suddenly, the Emperor Miao strongman of the Kuanping clan had his head pierced, and a bloody rain fell into the sky. It's not me! The Emperor Miao strongman of the Kuanping clan was killed, and everyone was shocked. They all looked at the strong man of the heavenly demon golden monkey clan, and the strong man screamed. Although the human emperor pill was tempting and attracted everyone to scramble for it, no one would kill people because of the human emperor pill, let alone rashly kill the strong man of the Kuanping clan. The strong men of various forces all wanted to show their strength, just to get a piece of the pie. The basis for sharing the pie must be done without completely tearing each other's faces, but there is no way to end it if you kill people suddenly. The strong man of the heavenly demon golden monkey clan hurriedly distanced himself from the relationship. Go to hell! At this moment, a gritting voice came, an endless murderous intent enveloped the world, and then the whole world was shaking, and endless petals whistled from all directions. These petals dragged long tails, which were the traces left by them cutting through the void. The harsh sonic boom was like the call of the god of death, which frightened all living beings. What? These strong men were horrified and waved their magic weapons to resist. Puff, puff, puff. But in front of the dragon bone evil moon, they were like a group of lambs to be slaughtered. After sucking blood crazily, the dragon bone evil moon became more and more fierce and fierce. Ordinary imperial soldiers could not withstand the cut of the petals. Asshole, who are you? Come out. A man with a golden light all over his body and a golden shield in his hand roared. He was the leader of this group of heavenly demon golden monkeys. The golden shield in his hand was a very powerful imperial weapon with a built-in shield, and it could temporarily withstand the attack of the petals. Bang! Just as he looked around, looking for the attacker, a fist shining with starlight hit his shield fiercely. Puff! The strong man of the heavenly demon golden monkey clan spurted out a mouthful of blood, and the golden shield could not be held and flew out of his hand. Ha! Long Chen's figure emerged and grabbed the golden shield. This golden shield was made of a special material and was a rare treasure. Who are you? How dare you? The powerful warrior of the heavenly demon golden monkey clan was taken away with his weapon, and he was shocked and angry. However, when he saw Long Chen's face, he couldn't help but feel cold in his heart. Death! Took a step forward, the power of the stars burst out, and he punched directly. Puff! The powerful warrior of the heavenly demon golden monkey clan, holding a golden long stick, resisted with all his strength, but was still smashed by Long Chen's punch. Although his strength has reached the middle stage of the human emperor, he is still like an ant in front of Long Chen. Puff, puff, puff. Just as Long Chen killed the powerful warrior of the heavenly demon golden monkey clan, the dragon bone evil moon turned into millions of petals, madly strangling other warriors, and all the warriors were killed in an instant. The powerful warriors of the beginning demon clan, who had already been desperate, escaped from death. They looked at the man in black with shock. Where is Xiao Qian? Long Chun looked at the powerful warriors of the beginning demon clan and said, "This." When the powerful warriors of the beginning demon clan saw that Long Chun asked their saint ant as soon as he opened his mouth, they immediately became alert, fearing that everything in front of them was a self-torture trick. Is she still safe? Long Chun understood their concerns instantly and asked in a different way. Saint Lady is fine now. A strong man of the second level of the emperor said hurriedly. Hearing that Yu Shaoqian was fine, Long Chen's heart was relieved. Ha! Long Chun threw the shield with the weapon spirit wiped out directly to the strong man and said, "Please notify Shaoqian for me and tell her that I, Long Chun, am here." Before Long Chun finished speaking, his face suddenly darkened and a terrifying aura of the emperor radiated. Obviously, the killing here alarmed the strong men of the third level of the emperor, and they have already come to kill him. You go first. Long Chen's figure flashed, like a meteor, whizzing away, and took the initiative to whiz away towards the terrifying aura. He is Long Chun? The peerless genius of the human race. The Long Chun who declared war on all races with his own strength? He actually knows our saint ant? But why haven't we heard of her? For a moment, the strong men of the Shur-Mo clan were all stunned. How could the peerless genius of the human race come to save them? The saint ant is the hope of their Shur-Mo clan's future. Even if they die, they will never let others get the news of Yu Shaoqian from their mouths. Therefore, they were full of vigilance against Long Chen before, and even now, they dare not be completely at ease. Pass the news to the saint ant first, and there will be a result soon. Let's leave here first. The strong man of the second level of the emperor made a prompt decision. This was not the time to hesitate. Even if there was a conspiracy, as long as they did not immediately meet up with the saint ant, they would not be implicated. Boom! At this moment, there was a shocking explosion, and a starlight column went straight into the sky, lighting up the whole world. Looking at the horrifying scene in the distance, the strong men of the Shur-Mo clan were all horrified. This Long Chun was too strong. Go! At this moment, another horrifying aura rose up, and another strong man of the emperor's third heaven came to kill him. The old man gritted his teeth and led everyone to fly away quickly. The gate of life open. Long Chun roared and shook the sky. His murderous aura soared into the sky. His whole body was covered with starlight, like a starry sky war god, and he punched the golden long stick. In the explosion, the avenue was annihilated, the law was broken, and a wave of death spread rapidly. The endless mountains were flattened in an instant, and turned into dust under the impact of terror. How is this possible? Opposite Long Chun, an old man holding a golden long stick and covered with golden hair looked at Long Chun with horror. He was from the heavenly demon golden monkey clan, a strong man of the third heaven of the emperor. Holding a golden long stick, he was an extremely fierce divine weapon. However, today he was actually knocked back by a human boy in the early stage of the human emperor with a punch. His arms were slightly numb and he couldn't help but look incredulous. One star god falls. Long Chun shouted angrily, and the starlight around him was brilliant, like 100 rivers converging into the sea, gathering on his fist. At this time, he was able to withstand the impact of the Gate of Life and began to use the magical power of the 9 stars. The power of a punch can connect the heaven and earth, and can kill the gods and demons in all directions. The violent and domineering aura radiates the eternal fairy dome. Who cares about you, Long Chun? Who cares about you being the first in the human race? Die for me, golden monkey tyrant heaven stick. The old man opened his eyes wide and roared to the sky. The 3 emperor bodies behind him were burning. The golden long stick was like a pillar supporting the sky, and it came with endless killing aura, whistling. He directly used his innate magical power. Bang! The fist covered with stars slammed hard on the golden giant stick. Long Chun groaned and flew backwards, his fist becoming a bloody mess. The old man from the heavenly demon Golden Monkey clan was bleeding wildly. He looked at the golden staff in his hand with a look of horror. Crack, crack, crack. Countless cracks appeared on the golden staff. Boom! The golden staff finally exploded. A precious imperial weapon that had experienced endless slaughter in the chaotic era was destroyed in the hands of a human emperor. Long Chen's right hand was shattered into a bloody mess, but it was recovering at a very fast speed. At this time, Long Chen slowly raised his left hand, and his palm popped open, and a star emerged. A star falls. Long Chen shouted, and unlike before, this star flew out of his hand. Buzz! When it left Long Chen's palm, a ripple formed between Long Chen's palms. The star disappeared in an instant, and when it appeared again, it was already in front of the old man of the heavenly demon Golden Monkey clan. What? The old man was horrified. The speed of this attack was too fast, so fast that he couldn't react at all. Puff! The star, the size of a baby's fist, directly pierced his chest. But this attack made a blood hole in his chest that was bigger than a bowl. Boom! With a loud bang, the star fell to the ground in the distance, erupting with a shocking roar, and the earth was shaking wildly. The old man of the heavenly demon Golden Monkey clan had a confused look on his face. His life force was rapidly draining away. He lowered his head with difficulty and looked at the big hole in his chest. His soul fire was extinguished instantly. Plop! The old man's body slowly fell to the ground, stirring up a cloud of dust. Long Chen, you have to take it easy. Although you have opened the power of the gate of life, your body has not yet fully adapted. Compressing the magical power of the 9 stars will easily be backfired. After all, you have not yet fully adapted to the star power of the gate of life. If you move too fast, it is easy to get into trouble. The voice of Chen Ding sounded in Long Chen's mind. Long Chen looked at his 2 bloody palms. He was injured in both attacks. As Chen Ding said, he was still too anxious. He compressed the power of the gate of life before he adapted to it. The greater the pressure, the greater the recoil force. He hurt the enemy 1,000 times and hurt himself 800 times. However, through this injury, Long Chen also roughly knew where his control limit was. It was not a loss. Puff! Dragon Bone Evil Moon pierced into the body of the heavenly demon Golden Monkey clan strongman and instantly sucked his blood and soul dry. Wow, it turns out that the blood power of the demon race is more powerful. Long Chen, try harder. I will soon be able to condense the Blood Moon Talisman. Long Guxieyu shouted excitedly. Boom! At this moment, the void trembled, thousands of roars, and the whole world dimmed in an instant. A more terrifying breath than the strong man of the heavenly demon Golden Monkey clan came. OM! Long Chen held Long Guxieyu, pointed his long sword to the sky, and the sword shadow went straight into the sky. Endless stars flowed and poured into the blade frantically. Dare to kill my disciples of the Kuanping clan. At this moment, the roar shook the sky, and a Kuanping appeared, with wings splitting the sky, eyes like blood moons, and came with boundless demonic energy. Open heaven slash. Long Chen didn't give him a chance to finish his words. Long Guxieyu came with endless star power, slashed through the sky, and slashed down fiercely at the huge Kuanping. The huge Kuanping also seemed much smaller in front of the sword shadow. Long Chen's move was very insidious. He tried his best to hide the fluctuations of the stars. When the Kuanping came close to Long Chen, he was locked by Long Chen. Kuanping was extremely fast, almost crashing into the star blade. Perhaps because it was too confident, or perhaps because it was afraid that the murderer would run away, it did not have time to switch combat forms. Boom! The Dragon Bone Evil Moon, which contained endless star power, slashed at Kuanping's head fiercely. The strong man of the Kuanping clan was horrified and instinctively tilted his head to avoid the vital part. Puff! The dragon bone evil moon stuck to its head and cut off one of its sky-covering wings. Blood rain splashed and sprinkled in the sky. Boom! The wings were like knives, splitting the earth, and most of them pierced into the earth. The Kuanping clan warrior screamed in pain, but the severe pain made him calm down quickly. He turned around and ran away. Long Chun cut off one of its wings. The terrifying star power hurt his imperial energy source. In this state, it could only exert 70% of its combat power at most. Moreover, after being injured, it sensed the death breath of the Tianyao Golden Monkey clan warrior. It immediately understood that this guy had just killed a third-level emperor and ran away immediately when he saw the bad situation. Puff! However, as soon as it moved, Long Chun slashed it with a knife again. The dragon bone evil moon covered with stars slashed on its other wing. But this time, in the splash of blood, it failed to cut off its wings because compared with the previous knife, it lacked the terrifying impact force. The Kuanping clan warrior was also a third-level emperor, but his physical body was much stronger than that of the Tianyao Golden Monkey clan warrior. Swish! However, at this moment, a star-shaped hand appeared, grabbed its wings, and tore them apart violently. Ah! The Kuanping clan warrior screamed, and his wings were torn off with blood and flesh. Damn human race! The Kuanping clan warrior was hit hard and roared, and he regretted it very much. He was too careless. If he hadn't been hit hard at the beginning with his strength, even if he couldn't kill Long Chun, he could still escape unscathed. However, now that his wings were cut off and his original imperial energy was greatly damaged, he had lost the chance to escape. Buzz! This Kuanping clan warrior was also a ruthless character. Seeing that things were not going well, runes flowed all over his body, and violent blood and energy burst out. Want to self-destruct? A mocking look appeared on Long Chen's face, and endless petals flew, instantly wrapping the Kuanping clan warrior. Puff, puff, puff. The swollen body was suddenly pierced with countless holes. When it chose to self-destruct, it was equivalent to giving up defense. If it was normal, with his defense, the current Dragon Bone Evil Moon would not be able to do anything to him, but now it was equivalent to giving itself to the Dragon Bone Evil Moon. No! The Emperor of the Kuanping clan, a third-level strongman, roared in reluctance, and the power of his blood soul was devoured by the Dragon Bone Evil Moon. At first, it was still struggling, but after a few breaths, it was completely devoured, and another terrifying strongman was killed. Ha! The two wings were thrown into the chaotic space, and the power of the chaotic space directly wiped out the Kuanping's will on them. Although Long Chun himself could erase its will, it would take a certain amount of time, and Long Chun was too lazy to bother with that. When the two inky black Kuanping wings were taken out, it had completely lost its resistance. Long Chun formed seals with his hands, and the dragon blood battle body emerged, and he shouted, "Refine!" OM. The dragon blood power instantly invaded the Kuanping wings. On the wings that no longer had the will of Kuanping, endless runes lit up, and they were gradually being subdued by the dragon blood power. After being subdued by the dragon blood power, Long Chun could use the dragon blood power to control the pair of Kuanping wings. After a few breaths, the subjugation was completed. Without the resistance of Kuanping's will, it was very easy to subjugate them. Buzz! The Kuanping wings on the ground disappeared and appeared on Long Chen's back. After being subjugated, they were equivalent to a pair of divine weapons. Long Chun adjusted them to a length of about 10 feet, just suitable for his body size, and then flapped his wings, and he flew away like a flash of lightning. Knowing that I am slow, you gave me a pair of wings. The Kuanping clan is quite filial. Ha! Long Chen's wings trembled violently, and the void was distorted on a large area, and the whole person disappeared instantly. The Saint Lady has ordered that Long Chun is absolutely trustworthy. If you meet him again, take him to the rendezvous place. Someone from the team of strong men rescued by Long Chun before shouted loudly while holding a token. How is the Saint Lady doing? The strong man of the second level of the Emperor couldn't help asking. The Saint Lady has left no other instructions except this sentence. I'm afraid the situation is not optimistic. The person holding the token was a strong man from the beginning demon clan who was responsible for transmitting messages. They have special souls and can use specially made tokens to activate them with unique secret methods. They can communicate over long distances. This ability is enough to shield all the strong men below the God Emperor. Only in this way can we ensure that the information will not be intercepted by masters when transmitting. Otherwise, it will be too dangerous. But I don't know if Long Chun can hold on against the two strong men of the third level of the Emperor. Alas, it's a pity that our strength is too low and we can't help at all. After confirming that Long Chun was one of them, the leader clenched his fists. Elder Tutien, you don't have to be sad. As long as we can break through the blockades and enter the demon sealing land, we will soar into the sky. No one can stop the rise of our beginning demon clan. An Emperor seedling level strongman said excitedly. The old man called Tutien looked at the excited disciple and couldn't help but sigh in his heart. How easy is it to enter the demon sealing land? The Brahma lineage arranged many obstacles along the way, and the beginning demon clan suffered heavy losses. Obviously, the Brahma lineage had already calculated that they would go to the demon sealing land at all costs. As long as they pass through the Emperor falling land, they can reach it, but they know, and the Brahma lineage also knows, that they will definitely kill all the beginning demon clan here at all costs. Hope is right in front of us. But if the blockade cannot be broken, hope can only turn into despair. However, he can only hold back such discouraging words in his stomach, so as not to undermine the morale of everyone. Boom, boom. Suddenly, the void exploded, and the terrifying imperial power surged. Everyone was shocked. Another emperor of the third level came, and the speed was extremely fast. Almost in the blink of an eye, he rushed over. Elder Tutian couldn't help but sigh helplessly in his heart. When the emperor of the third level took action, they didn't even have a chance to resist. Fight him! The disciples of the beginning demon clan roared, and they all showed their weapons. They knew they would die, but they were not afraid. However, when the terrifying aura came in front of everyone couldn't help but be surprised and happy. That person was none other than Long Chun. The terrifying imperial power was not emitted by Long Chun, but by the pair of Kuanping wings behind Long Chun. The pair of wings made them mistakenly think that it was the emperor who came to kill him. Lord Long Chun. With the order of the Saint Ant, Tu Tian hurriedly stepped forward and saluted. The Saint Ant has ordered us to take you to the rendezvous place. At this time, the strong men of the beginning demon clan looked at Long Chun with awe on their faces, and their eyes were full of joy. Long Chun was able to fight against a powerful emperor of the third level without any sign of injury. This fighting power was truly amazing. The reason why Long Chun was able to catch up with them was that he had quietly left marks on their bodies when he rescued them. Long Chun said, "Tell me your plan and the distribution of manpower, quickly." If Long Chun had said this before, Tu Tian and the others would have regarded Long Chun as an enemy. How could such a secret concerning the entire Shur Mo clan be told to outsiders? Now that he had the order from the Saint Ant, he directly informed Long Chun of the situation without reservation. It turned out that the source of the inheritance of the beginning demon clan was the demon sealing land. For the beginning demon clan, it was equivalent to the Emperor Mountain of the Purple Blood clan. Only by entering the demon sealing land can the beginning demon clan rise completely. But the beginning demon clan was closely watched by the Brahma lineage. Once they made any unusual movements, they would be slaughtered in blood. The beginning demon clan was regarded as an enemy by all the races and could not move an inch. The beginning demon clan could only lie dormant in the dark and wait for an opportunity. When the nine heavens changed, while the strong men of the major clans were protecting the disciples to advance and had no time to take care of other things, the beginning demon clan raised half of the clan's strength and headed towards the demon sealing land in dozens of directions. However, what the beginning demon clan did not expect was that the Brahma lineage deliberately did not take action at the beginning, and only started to erupt when they gradually approached the demon sealing land. In this way, their retreat was directly cut off, forcing them to fight desperately. It was not easy for the beginning demon clan to rush into the Emperor's falling land, and here countless strong men were waiting for them. Here they became someone else's prey. In order not to be annihilated, they had to split up into small groups and fight to the limit. In this way, as long as one team finally rushed into the demon sealing land, the inheritance of the beginning demon clan would not be cut off. Obviously, the beginning demon clan had made the worst plan. The entire team was divided into 300 branches and quickly moved towards the depths of the Emperor's falling land. As long as they entered the depths of the Emperor's falling land, they would enter a fair battlefield. There were endless dangers there, and everyone survived by luck. This was the last hope of the beginning demon clan. After understanding the deployment of the beginning demon clan, Long Chun stretched out his hand. "Give me the communication token." "This?" The messenger was shocked and looked at Tu Tian, who nodded. After Long Chun got the communication token, the divine light of the Chenkuan Ding in his sea of consciousness flashed, and then a huge map appeared in Long Chen's mind. Soon, more than 200 light balls appeared in Long Chen's mind. When he saw these light balls, Long Chen's heart sank. Tu Tian said that they had 300 teams, but now there were only more than 200 left. The absence of the light balls meant that their team had been completely wiped out. In those light balls, Long Chun soon felt a familiar breath, which was exactly where Yu Shaoqin was. "Senior." "OM." As Long Chun shouted, the sacred runes on the Chenkuan Ding all lit up, and then Long Chun saw that countless strong men were frantically attacking Yu Shaoqin's team. Among them, more than a dozen strong men from the third level of the Emperor were fighting, and Yu Shaoqin was fighting a group of contemporary Tianjiao alone, and she was already in danger. "Senior, teleport me directly." Long Chun was very anxious and shouted loudly. "No, the space here is complicated and the laws are chaotic. If you force the teleportation, I will crush the space. If you teleport directly, all of them will be crushed to death. You can only fly over by yourself. At your speed, it will take at most one stick of incense. Hurry," Chenkuan Ding said. When Long Chun heard that he couldn't teleport, he used Kuanping's wings to spread out the sky and earth, threw the communication token in his hand to Tu Tian, and shook his wings. The void was distorted and disappeared in an instant. "Shao Qian, hold on. I'm coming." Long Chun gritted his teeth, and murderous intent surged in his eyes. The beginning demon clan, the source of turmoil in the 9 heavens and 10 earths, a race cursed by the entire world. Today, you can't escape even if you have wings. Your extinction will promote peace in this world. End your sinful life quickly. For the sentient beings of the 9 heavens and 10 earths, kill. Boom boom. Countless strong men rushed to the valley like a tide. These people were all new strong men who had just entered the human emperor seed. These Tianjiao had just advanced to the human emperor, and their strength had greatly increased. They needed a bloody battle to temper their realm. Because of the revival of spiritual energy, the cultivation speed of Tianjiao increased too fast, which would cause some people to have unstable foundations. The human emperor pill can not only improve the realm, but also temper the foundation, which is why the human emperor pill makes them so crazy. The difficulty of refining the human emperor pill is extremely high. Most alchemists who make the human emperor pill will lose money because the failure rate is too high. Even if they are refined, they are generally spiritual pills. Golden pills are very rare, not to mention the best golden pills. Long Chun has the inheritance of the Emperor of Pills, the strongest artifact of the 9 heavens and 10 earths, the Chenkuan Ding, and the powerful flame of Huolinger. It takes a long time to refine the top-grade precious pill, which shows how difficult it is to refine this pill. Pills contain the essence of plants and are the most important auxiliary tools for practitioners. Almost everyone cannot do without them. Because Brahma Pill Valley is almost monopolistic in the operation of pills, pills are extremely scarce. Although Huayun Commercial Bank also operates pills, their size is still too small and supply cannot meet demand. The major forces are also secretly training their own alchemists, but they can't even be self-sufficient, let alone sell them to others. Therefore, when Brahma Pill Valley proposed to exchange human heads for the Emperor Pill, this group of strong men went crazy. However, those who want to participate in such welfare are not ordinary people who can participate. They have internal relations with the Pill Valley to get a quota. Brahma Pill Valley's move can be said to kill two birds with one stone. It can not only solve the problem of the first demon clan without bloodshed, but also win the hearts of partners and increase cohesion. At the same time, it also reminded those forces who were unable to participate and could only watch, that only by following the Brahma Pill Valley wholeheartedly can they reap the benefits. Boom, boom. In the distance, the sky and the earth roared and exploded, and thousands of roads collapsed. The violent imperial power tore the sky apart. Above the 9 heavens, there were all terrifying cracks. That was the battlefield of the Emperor's 3-level strongmen, and others could not get close at all. Under the sky was the battlefield of the human Emperor strongmen. Today's human Emperor strongmen rushed to the center of the valley frantically. In the center of the valley, hundreds of thousands of human Emperor strongmen of the original demon clan formed seals with their hands, and formed a barrier with a woman as the center. Above the barrier, a huge demon word emerged. Millions of human Emperor strongmen besieged it frantically. The word demon has gradually dimmed from its original brilliant divine light. In the center of the barrier, a beautiful woman formed seals with her jade hands. Her beautiful eyes were closed. Her pretty face was full of paleness, and sweat dripped slowly along her smooth forehead. Between her eyebrows, a golden divine pattern of the word demon flickered continuously, keeping the same rhythm as the word demon on the barrier. Puff! Suddenly she spat out a mouthful of blood, and the bright red blood fell on her chest, like a little bit of sad and beautiful plum blossoms blooming, and her face became even paler. Saint Ant! Seeing the woman vomiting blood, the powerful people of the beginning demon clan in the barrier exclaimed, "Don't be distracted, try to hold on, and never give up until the last moment." Yu Shaoqian shouted loudly. She used her life force to open the barrier, gathered the power of hundreds of thousands of disciples of the beginning demon clan, reinforced the barrier, and resisted the crazy attacks of countless strong men for an incense stick of time. But there were too many enemies, and they were all masters among masters. Even the strong men of the 3rd level of the Emperor would find it difficult to break this formation. But under the crazy siege of so many strong men, its toughness was rapidly decreasing. Yu Shaoqian had to burn the power of the origin and struggle to support it. But with the rapid consumption of the power of the origin, her soul gradually couldn't hold on. A group of races that shouldn't live in this world. There is no need to fight stubbornly. Today, no one can save you. Withdraw the formation obediently, let us cut off your heads honestly, and you can enjoy it. Otherwise, what awaits you is only a life worse than death. Don't kill them all. The saint of the Shur Mo clan is too beautiful. It's a waste to exchange her head for the human Emperor Pill. I want to catch her back to warm my bed. Haha. While attacking, those strong men spoke all kinds of dirty words, deliberately angering the people in the barrier, making them restless, and the barrier was easier to break. This group of damn things, if we die, Juqian will no longer have the power to restrain the extraterritorial demons, and you will all be eaten by monsters. A strong man from the Shur Mo clan roared. Ha ha ha! You should worry about yourselves first. The roar of the powerful man of the Shur Mo clan immediately caused the besiegers to sneer. Stop talking nonsense with them and work harder. At this time, someone in the distance shouted coldly. A giant with a tall stature of 10 feet shouted coldly. The giant strong man had an extremely strong aura. He was also an Emperor Miao, but his Emperor Qi was dozens of times that of ordinary Emperor Miao strongmen, and his blood was even more terrifying. Obviously, this was a leader, and in addition to him there were dozens of leaders. They all stood in the distance and did not take action personally. These leaders did not take action at this time. They were conserving their strength and fighting for heads after the barrier was broken, because that was the key. Dozens of leaders, all elites among elites, strong among strong, formed a circle and surrounded this place, so that not even a fly could fly out. It's about to break. A strong man with wings on his back and sharp eyes like a knife. A fierce look appeared on his face. The wings behind him trembled quietly. Once the barrier was broken, he would rush in at the first time with amazing speed. Puff! At this moment, Yu Shaoqian spurted out blood again. She had reached her limit. Saint Ant, don't hold on any longer. Let's fight them. Kill one to get back our losses, and kill two to make a profit. A powerful member of the Shur Mo clan shouted. He was afraid that Saint Ant's power would be exhausted. If they caught her alive, they couldn't imagine how miserable Saint Ant's ending would be. Hold on. Don't give up. Yu Shaoqian gritted her teeth, and her jade hands kept shaking. She was struggling to hold on. Even if she overdrew her original power, she didn't care. Because she sensed Long Chun. She knew that Long Chun was rushing over. She must hold on until Long Chun arrived and must not give up. Boom! Countless attacks fell on the barrier, and the barrier kept shaking, and ripples appeared. That was a sign that the barrier was about to break. At that moment, the leaders who stayed on the periphery were all ready, and the imperial aura began to burn. With a loud bang, the formation could no longer hold on and exploded. Endless fragments of space flew. At that moment, the strong men of the Shur Mo clan gnashed their teeth and held their weapons tightly. Kill! Countless strong men roared and rushed towards the Shur Mo clan disciples. However, at this moment, a smile appeared on Yu Shaoqian's pale face. Boom! A bronze tripod appeared in the void, and divine light flowed, protecting Yu Shaoqian and others. On the bronze tripod, divine light fell, replacing the original barrier and protecting all the people of the Shur Mo clan. Bang, bang, bang. Countless strong men just rushed over and were directly bounced away. What? The sudden change caught these people off guard. Those leaders who had prepared their big moves hurriedly stopped and almost sprained their waists. A man in a black robe appeared among the disciples of the Shur Mo clan. When she saw the man, Yu Shaoqian's pale face bloomed with a beautiful smile. She was smiling, but tears were falling like pearls from a broken string. She opened her cherry lips slightly, moved a few times, but found that she couldn't say a word. Shaoqian, I'm sorry, I'm late. Long Chun came to Yu Shaoqian, gently stroked her cheek with his big hand, and felt her weak breath. Long Chun was full of heartache. Long Chun took out a pill and gave it to Yu Shaoqian. Yu Shaoqian suddenly felt a wave of fatigue. Her eyelids felt heavy, and she fell asleep in an instant. Long Chun handed Yu Shaoqian to a female disciple of the Shur Mo clan and slowly stood up. When people saw Long Chun's face, countless people exclaimed, Long Chun, he is Long Chun. Ever since Long Chun launched the massacre, his name has been resounding throughout the 9 heavens. Under the malicious praise of the Brahma Pill Valley, almost no one in the 9 heavens and 10 earths did not know Long Chen's name. After all, the halo of being known as the contemporary Tianjiao of the human race is too dazzling. Violently massacring the city, declaring war on all races, killing all powerful enemies when overcoming the tribulation, destroying the sky-peaking mirror, and even slaughtering countless masters of the Brahma Pill Valley. Everything was earth-shattering. Today's Long Chun is so brilliant that there is no one who doesn't know him in the 9 heavens and 10 earths. At first, everyone found that the person who came to help was just a human emperor, and they didn't take it seriously at all. But when they found out that this person was Long Chun, a sense of fear inexplicably rose in their hearts. So what if it's Long Chun? You claim to be the number 1 of the human race, what a big mouth. Today I will kill you, the number 1 of the human race. Come out, I will give you a fair fight so that you will die convinced. At this time a man in white came out. The man was dressed in white, spotless, with an ancient zither on his back, and his whole body was surrounded by the divine light of the heavenly way. His imperial aura was vast and boundless, suffocating. Someone from the Qin sect exclaimed. They didn't expect that there was a master of the Qin sect hidden in their team. They had never seen this person before, and it was estimated that he was hiding and preparing to attack in secret. When Long Chen appeared, this person also appeared. Obviously, Long Chen's attraction to him was greater than that of the human emperor pill. Long Chen is known as the number one of the younger generation of the human race. Whoever defeats him will be blessed with all the auras of Long Chen. Lord Long Chen, don't fall for their tricks. Thank you for risking your life to come to support us. We don't ask you to save us, we only ask you to take Lady Saint Ant away, and we will fight to the death to cover your retreat. The woman holding Yu Shaoqian shouted anxiously. Yu Shaoqian had never mentioned Long Chen to anyone, but Long Chen's reputation was too loud, and they knew that Long Chen was very strong. But no matter how strong Long Chen was, facing so many strong men, he could only end up sadly. They hoped that Long Chen could take Lady Saint Ant away. As long as Lady Saint Ant was alive, the Shur Mo clan would have hope. Risk your life? Are they worthy of it? Long Chen snorted coldly, looked at the strong men outside, and slowly walked out. You are a bunch of greedy fools, shameless villains, who hurt my woman, Long Chen. If any of you can leave here alive today, my name, Long Chen, will be written backwards from now on. Long Chen's voice was cold and deep, like a god who was enraged. His voice reverberated between heaven and earth, and the cold killing intent made the temperature of the whole world drop rapidly. Brother Long Chen, don't worry, Master has injected divine power into me. Even if the Emperor's 3-level strongman attacks with all his strength, I can resist for a while. Yao Linger's voice came. The bronze tripod that protected everyone was the Yaoyue tripod, not the Chenkuan tripod, because Chenkuan tripod knew that Long Chen would definitely kill in a while, so it was not convenient for it to attack. After waking up, Chenkuan tripod passed part of its divine power to Yao Linger, the little disciple. At this time, the Yaoyue tripod was not afraid of the Emperor's 3-level strongman. Ha! When Long Chen walked out of the Yaoyue tripod's divine light barrier and appeared outside, all eyes in the audience were focused on Long Chen. Only above the 9 heavens, there was a constant roar. The Emperor's 3-level strongman were still fighting fiercely and could not take care of this side. Ha ha ha, good, you still have some backbone. Go ahead. Wei Wuqing, will end your title as the number 1 in the human race today, and let you know what it means that there are always people who are better than you and there are always better than you. The Qin sect strongman laughed when he saw Long Chen really come out. His laughter was full of confidence and arrogance. Long Chen looked indifferent and said nothing. He looked at the man named Wei Wuqing quietly. At this time, the whole place was silent. They had all heard of Long Chen's name, and they also wanted to know how strong Long Chen was. Therefore, when the leaders saw Long Chen come out, they did not rush to take action, but chose to observe quietly. Although Long Chen's previous words were arrogant, the murderous intent emanating from Long Chen made them a little frightened and dared not act rashly. What? Are you dumb? Or are you preparing your last words? Wei Wuqing sneered when he saw that Long Chen did not answer his words. You are just a little trash. Even Li Chunyang is not qualified to be arrogant in front of me, Long Chen said coldly. Hearing Long Chen's words, Wei Wuqing's face changed, and then he sneered. You think you can call Lord Chunyang by his name? Do you think you can scare people by bringing up Lord Chunyang's name? This can only show your inner anxiety and fear. Are you stalling for time? Buzz! Wei Wuqing sneered, and the vision behind him was stretched open. In the vision, an ancient god sat cross-legged in the void, with an ancient zither on his knees. When Wei Wuqing's vision appeared, the way of heaven roared, and the sacred and ancient breath radiated, as if bringing people into the distant ancient times. That figure was an ancient god, and the vast divine power made all the human beings feel a tremor in their souls. Wei Wuqing said coldly, This is my vision. He is an ancestor of the Wei family. He was once a peerless and powerful person of the 6th level of the Emperor. As the contemporary genius of the Wei family, I have won the favor of the ancestor and received the blessing of the ancestor. In this state, even the domain power of a 3rd-level emperor will be reduced a lot. Next, I will let you, a self-conceited frog in the well, see what real power is. OM. Wei Wuqing formed seals with both hands. Suddenly, in the vision behind him, the ancient god moved and plucked the strings with his big hand. Boom! The void exploded, and a sound blade like a crescent moon cut through the sky, making a sharp sonic boom, and instantly slashed in front of Long Chun. The huge sound blade formed a transparent crescent blade, traversing the sky and slashing down thousands of paths. The power of this attack was amazing, shocking countless people. The divine art of Qin sect is too terrifying. Boom! However, this sound blade with sacred power suddenly stopped in front of Long Chun, and a big hand covered with stars grabbed it. What? Such a terrifying attack. Long Chun actually took it with his bare hands? Wei Wuqing's face changed. His attack contained the power of the divine Wei, and even the Emperor of the Third Heaven would not dare to underestimate it. However, Long Chun just grabbed it casually, and actually blocked his proud magical power. A group of grandsons pretending to be elegant, hypocritical hypocrites, beasts who take human lives lightly. Long Chun's eyes were cold. Perhaps because of Ziyan, Long Chun did not have a bad impression of Qin sect at the beginning. But as he came into contact with Qin sect, Long Chun found that there seemed to be few good people in Qin sect except Liao Yuhuang. Now, after learning about the situation of the heavenly demon harp from Chen Kuanding, and knowing that Ziyan was wanted by the Qin sect, and now she came to harm the first demon clan if he came a step later, thinking of the unbearable consequences, Long Chen's eyes were cold. You all deserve to die. Long Chen's sword eyebrows were raised, and starlight surged above his 5 fingers. Bang! With a loud bang, the sound blade was instantly crushed, and Long Chen's figure disappeared in the sky of divine light. Not good. Wei Wuqing was shocked. The ancient harp in his hand trembled. The shadow of the ancestor behind him twisted. The whole ancient harp was shining with the light of the sky, and a huge shield enveloped him. Wei Wuqing lost his target and felt bad at the first time. He could not sense Long Chen's exact position and directly open the defense without dead angles. Bang! When the shield just condensed, a star fist hit the shield hard, and the shield exploded instantly. Bang! And the moment the shield exploded, the ancient harp in Wei Wuqing's hand automatically protected its master and blocked in front of him, and the shield-breaking fist hit the ancient harp again. Boom, boom, boom. The void behind Wei Wuqing shook, large ripples surged, and the whole person flew backwards. Wei Wuqing's face was full of horror. After being blocked by the shield, how could the power of this punch still be so terrifying? This punch shook his blood and qi. His throat felt sweet, and he almost spurted out a mouthful of blood. Damn ant! It seems that I need to show some real skills to deal with you. Well, today I will let you die clearly. Wei Wuqing roared. Buzz, buzz, buzz. Flames rose from his body one after another. Every time a flame rose, his breath increased by a large amount. The violent imperial power surged wildly in all directions. Boom, boom, boom. Ripples spread wildly in all directions with Wei Wuqing as the center, madly washing the world. The legendary existence, the divine seedling among the emperor's seedlings, has appeared. Someone's voice trembled. What is that? Someone exclaimed. Among the emperor's seedlings, there is an extremely special kind of practitioner, 1 in 10,000. They possess the most powerful spiritual blood, spiritual roots, and spiritual bones, and the power of the 3 is balanced. Using spiritual roots as seeds, spiritual blood as fertilizer, and spiritual bones as fields, they split the flame of the emperor's seedling and cultivate one emperor's seedling flame after another. Every time an emperor's seedling flame is condensed, the power of their emperor's flame will become stronger. The more emperor's flames they have, the more terrifying their power will be. The cultivation of the divine seedling is extremely demanding. In addition to having one's own innate conditions, it also requires a huge amount of acquired resource support. Otherwise this path will not work at all. 1, 2, 3. Oh my god, he has 18 emperor's flames. Someone counted the emperor's flames around Wei Wuqing and couldn't help but be shocked. The resources consumed to cultivate these 18 imperial flames are enough to cultivate thousands of emperor seedlings. This Wei Wuji is definitely not an ordinary person in the Qin sect. Boom! Just as people were discussing, there was a loud bang, and 18 imperial flames flowed around Wei Wuqing, forming a huge fire ring. The aura of the 18 imperial flames connected together, and his aura surged again. Although he was only a human emperor, his imperial aura fluctuations were almost equivalent to those of a strong man in the second level of the emperor. Long Chun, you can rest in peace if you can die in my prime. Wei Wuqing's ancient zither stood upright in the void, looking down at Long Chun from a high position, looking like a king who was high above. However, Long Chun did not answer him, but just looked at him coldly, with murderous intent flashing in his eyes. At this moment, even if I am a strong man in the third level of the emperor, I have the strength to fight. In front of me, you are just an ant, Wei Wuqing said with a grim smile. At this moment, he was not in a hurry to take action. He seemed to want to slowly appreciate the despair of Long Chun when he faced death. Unfortunately, there was no response on Long Chun's face. All he had was a cold killing intent. Ancestors, quickly defeat the enemy and come to help Long Chun. His enemies are too powerful. The woman of the Shur Mo clan who was holding Yu Shaoqian prayed in her heart, and her face was full of anxiety. Today's Wei Wuqing is already comparable to a strong man in the third heaven of the emperor. Such a strong man is so powerful that it makes people despair. Only the ancestors have the ability to turn the tide. The woman was trembling nervously, and because of her trembling, Yu Shaoqian, who had fallen asleep in her arms, slowly opened her eyes. Her pale face finally regained a trace of blood color. Although her body was still weak, the trauma caused by overdraft had recovered a lot. Saint Ant, you are awake. Seeing Yu Shaoqian wake up, the woman shouted in surprise. Yu Shaoqian woke up and hurriedly looked at Long Chun. When she saw Wei Wuqing in his prime, she couldn't help but shrink her pupils. She had never seen such a terrifying human emperor. Long Chun. Yu Shaoqian's heart instantly rose to her throat. Shaoqian. Long Chun slowly turned around, looked at the still weak Yu Shaoqian, and said in a deep voice, "Heart disease must be cured by heart medicine. Blood debt must be repaid with blood. You have endured too much pain. Today, I will return all the pain you have endured to them in front of you." Long Chun. Yu Shaoqian bit her cherry lips tightly, thinking about being hunted for so many years after ascending to the fairyland, watching so many tribesmen die, and the future was bleak and hopeless. She felt like she was going to collapse. However, she was the saint of the Shur Mo tribe, shouldering the future of the entire tribe. She could only pretend to be strong, and she had to boost the morale of everyone even though she was powerless. Long Chen's words directly hit the weakest part of her heart, and she burst into tears. In this world, the only person who understood her best was Long Chen. Stupid and arrogant, go to hell. Seeing that Long Chun dared to turn his back to him and speak arrogantly, Wei Wuqing felt extremely humiliated. He roared, and the imperial flames rose. He pulled the strings of the guqin in his hand, and a huge arrow appeared on the guqin. Ha! However, before the arrow was shot, Long Chen's figure appeared in front of him, and a big hand grabbed his wrist. In order to wait for Shaoqian to wake up, I gave you a few more breaths of life. Now you can die. Long Chen roared, and the starlight around him surged. He exerted force with his big hand. Puff! Blood rained in the sky, and an arm was torn off by Long Chun. What? The masters of all races were all shocked. Wei Wuqing possessed 18 imperial flames, and was blessed with the sacred power of his ancestors. The quantitative change led to a qualitative change. At this time, he already had the capital to compete with the emperor's third-level strongman. But such an existence had his arm torn off by Long Chun in one move. People looked at the pair of wings behind him, and someone exclaimed, "It's the wings of Kuanping. Damn it! This bastard dared to blaspheme my Kuanping clan." Among the masters present, someone roared, Obviously, they didn't know that the wings belonged to the ancestor of their Kuanping clan. However, after being refined by Long Chun and driven by dragon blood, the aura was completely different. They didn't recognize the origin of the wings for a while. You only have the power to challenge the Emperor of the Third Heaven, but you have not formed a space domain. The reason why you think you can fight with the Emperor of the Third Heaven is that the strong men you fight on weekdays are all your own people. If you fight to the death with the Emperor of the Third Heaven, with your strength, you will only be slapped to death. Ha! Long Chun threw the arm. The Kuanping wings behind him trembled, and the man disappeared instantly. Although the Kuanping wings have just been obtained, Long Chun has experience in controlling the Kuanping wings. He can master all the magical powers on the wings. In his hands, the speed of this pair of wings is even faster than the original body. Especially in close combat, Long Chun has extremely rich combat experience. His body movements are coordinated with the wings, as fast as wind and lightning. In a flash, he arrived in front of Wei Wuqing. Go to hell! Wei Wuqing roared, and the broken arm had been reborn. The guqin in his hand was enlarged like a mountain. The figure in the vision behind him stretched out his big hand, and 18 imperial flames were wrapped around his hand. Wei Wuqing used the hand of his ancestors to deal with Long Chun, and at the same time lent his imperial flame to the vision, while he himself retreated rapidly. Obviously, he had seen that Long Chun was terrifying in close combat and had an amazing speed, so he had to keep a certain distance from him. One star god falls. Long Chun snorted coldly, and a starlight ball appeared in the palm of his hand, and slapped it hard on the guqin. Boom! The guqin roared and exploded, rolling continuously in the air, and was directly shaken away, and the figure in the vision was also shaken. Ha! Long Chun flashed and was in front of Wei Wuqing. Wei Wuqing was shocked and angry. His full-strength attack was broken just like that. The power of the vision controls the divine weapon, which will have a conduction consumption, and the power will be reduced to a certain extent, but it is safer. But after this move failed, Wei Wuqing roared, waved his big hand, and the guqin instantly appeared in his hand. On the guqin, the strings kept stirring. Seeing Long Chun coming, Wei Wuqing directly blocked it with the guqin. Ha! However, just as Wei Wuqing made his move, Long Chen's figure disappeared in an instant. What? Wei Wuqing was shocked. Long Chen's attack was actually a fake move. Just as he was about to change his move, Long Chen's cold voice came. Do you have a brother? Puff! As soon as Long Chun finished speaking, Wei Wuqing let out a shrill scream, and one of his arms left his body and was torn off by Long Chun. It is said that brothers are like limbs, but in fact it is not true. For some people, brothers are more important than their own lives. You killed other people's brothers, but you have never experienced other people's pain. If you don't know pain, how can you know reverence? A group of people who don't know reverence will only put their desires above the pain of others. Feel the pain. Puff! Long Chen's voice echoed between heaven and earth, and suddenly his figure, like a ghost, flew through the air, and one of Wei Wuqing's thighs was torn off by Long Chun. Ah! Wei Wuqing screamed like a pig being slaughtered. He was injured continuously. Although he didn't die, he had never experienced such pain in his life. Feel the pain. Remember the pain. Puff! Long Chen's figure flashed again, and another thigh of Wei Wuqing was torn off, and blood spilled into the sky. The scene was extremely tragic. However, the powerful men of the Mo clan clenched their fists. How could the pain Wei Wuqing suffered be compared with theirs? Which of the powerful men of the Mo clan present didn't have relatives killed? Even parents, brothers, and sisters all died. But they didn't even have the qualifications to cry and howl, and could only endure the pain silently. They didn't dare to cry and howl, fearing that they would add negative emotions to others. Long Chun tore Wei Wuqing apart with his hands. Listening to Wei Wuqing's shrill screams, they felt extremely happy in their hearts. As Long Chun said, blood debts can only be repaid with blood. What are you still looking at? Do it together. If I die, it will be your turn next. Seeing that he couldn't fight against Long Chun, Wei Wuching roared. The other masters were shocked. That's right, Long Chun said that he would not spare any of them. Although Wei Wuching was injured continuously, his original power was not consumed too much, and he still had a certain combat power. If he died, everyone would be in more danger. Let's go together. Rumble. In addition to Wei Wuching, another Shen Miao appeared. It was a giant with 15 imperial flames burning around his body. Although his imperial flames were not as many as Wei Wuching's, his aura was several times stronger than Wei Wuching's. After all, the disciples of the Qin sect win by playing the Qin, mostly with long range and auxiliary, and close combat is their shortcoming. As soon as the giant master made a move, violent auras rose and fell. The masters of the Shuremo clan were shocked to find that those leader-level masters were all Shen Miao. However, the strength of these Shen Miao masters was uneven. Some of them only had 5 imperial flames, while others had as many as 19. They made a move at the same time and killed Long Qin. For a time, the divine light filled the sky, the void collapsed, and the fierce murderous aura surged back and forth. With a loud bang, the giant took the lead and punched Long Qin. Long Chun also punched out with a violent force, directly smashing the giant's fist. The giant roared and retreated several steps. Every step he took on the void shook the entire battlefield. Buzz! A spear came across the sky. Long Chun waved his hand and slapped the front of the spear. The spear holder's mouth suddenly exploded, and the spear flew out in a spin. Puff, puff, puff. Wherever the spear passed, countless strong men were smashed into blood mist. With a roar of Kuanping Yentian sword, a Kuanping showed its true form, opened its mouth, and a blood-colored giant sword stabbed at Long Chun fiercely. This is the bloodline magical power of the Kuanping clan. The long sword is compressed with the power of the bloodline, and its power is amazing. Ordinary imperial soldiers cannot withstand it. Buzz! Long Chun grabbed with his big hand and held up the tip of the sword. Then, the stars on his entire arm lit up, and an unstoppable force burst out. Ha! Long Chen's body moved. He pressed the huge blood-colored lightsaber and rushed forward. The giant sword shortened rapidly, and Long Chun rushed to the front of Kuanping in an instant. The huge sword was forcibly pressed back into its mouth by Long Chun, and then Kuanping's whole body glowed and expanded rapidly. Not good. When seeing this scene, all the strong men were shocked and hurriedly gave up the attack and switched to a defensive posture. Boom! The huge body of Kuanping exploded in the horrified eyes of everyone. Boom, boom! A powerful Di Miao warrior with 12 imperial flames exploded directly, and a blood-chi light ball of tens of thousands of miles spread rapidly. Puff, puff, puff! Ordinary Di Miao warriors were directly crushed by the terrifying light ball. Everything happened too fast. There was no time to dodge, let alone escape. The light ball swallowed up the space of tens of thousands of miles. After the light ball scattered, except for dozens of Shin Miao warriors and a few Di Miao warriors who barely survived with special magic weapons, the rest were all killed. The strong men of the Shuremo clan were horrified. When the terrifying impact came, they were all desperate. Such power was simply unstoppable. Fortunately, Yao Yuding withstood the terrifying impact, but its barrier was shaking constantly, and everyone was scared. People looked into the void. Above the void, Long Chen's body was dotted with stars, and with the starry sky battle suit on his body, he stood there like a god of war. The terrifying impact seemed to have no effect on him at all. He looked down at the embarrassed Shin Miao with cold eyes and walked towards them step by step. Zhang zhang. The rapid sound of the piano sounded, the world trembled, and the roar of thousands of ways. The emperor flames around these Shin Miao strongmen burned rapidly, and their breaths soared rapidly. Long Chun, no matter how strong you are, you will definitely die. I will use my blood soul as a guide to help them increase the power of the Emperor Flame. Their power can be doubled. Puff! Wei Wuqing's face was ferocious. He played the piano while gritting his teeth and shouting. Later, he directly spurted out a mouthful of blood. Our power! At that moment, many Shin Miao strongmen felt the endless power of the Emperor Flame, and they were all stunned. Stupid, hurry up, otherwise we will all die. Puff! Seeing that everyone was still in a daze, Wei Wuqing roared. The cost of burning his life. He used the secret method to draw the power of heaven and earth to bless everyone with the Emperor Flame. He couldn't hold on for long, and these guys were still in a daze. Attack! The giant was the first to attack. After being blessed, his aura became even more violent. He directly showed his weapon, which was a mountain-breaking hammer. The hammer head was as big as a house. The first hammer hit Long Chen fiercely. Ha! However, his hammer went down, but it hit nothing. Long Chen's Kunping wings trembled and directly avoided his attack. When Long Chen appeared again, he was already in front of his huge head. A finger slowly pressed against his forehead. The Emperor's flame has doubled. That's just a quantitative change. You can only eat 1 bowl of rice per meal. Even if you are given a bowl of rice, you can't eat it all in 1 bite. Even if you finish eating, you can't digest it. What's the point? Don't kill me. I'm willing. The giant stared with cross-eyed and screamed in horror. Puff! A lightning shot out from Long Chen's fingertips and pierced his head directly. The giant made a strange sound in his mouth and his body slowly fell backwards. His big face was full of fear and unwillingness. Perhaps he felt regret before he died. But it was too late. Boom, boom, boom. This time, the attacks of other strong men arrived, but unfortunately, it was too late to save the giant. Hoo! The wings of Kunping behind Long Chen trembled continuously, and the afterimages filled the sky. All attacks were avoided by Long Chen. Puff! A head soared into the sky, and another strong man was killed. Damn it! Do you only know how to run? Don't you dare to fight openly? A strong man wearing armor and armed to the teeth, holding a spear, roared at Long Chen. As you wish, Shuangxing Fei Hong. Long Chen shouted and rushed towards the man. The man didn't expect that Long Chen would be so easily provoked. He didn't have time to swing his spear for protection. He shouted angrily, and his whole body armor glowed. Countless runes lit up from head to toe 1 by 1. He opened the armor runes to the maximum. Boom! 2 star clusters hit his chest one after another, but only made a loud bang. When the first star cluster hit the man's armor, his armor's defense rune was immediately triggered. After being triggered, the armor would have a pause. The second hit was fatal. With a loud bang, the strong man wearing the armor was blown away, rolling all the way, and fell hard to the ground, motionless. Blood flowed out along the gap of the armor. It turned out that the armor was extremely terrifying and difficult to damage. Long Chen had long seen its strength. However, the armor was difficult to damage, which did not mean that the person inside the armor was absolutely safe. Long Chen used clever strength in that attack. After the armor's defense was deceived by the first attack, the second attack passed the power through the armor and directly shocked the strong man inside to death. Zhang zheng. Puff, puff, puff. Long Chen started killing almost 1 by 1. Wei Wuqing's piano sound seemed to be a prelude to killing for Long Chen. In a few breaths, 7 people had been killed. There were still a dozen people left, all with fear on their faces. They were scared out of their wits. This Long Chen was simply a demon and could not be defeated at all. Run! Finally, someone couldn't stand it anymore. Although running away was shameful and they might even face punishment from the sect, it was better to lose face than to lose their lives. Hoo! Everyone scattered and fled in all directions. Puff! 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 However, just as they ran away, the endless petals turned into angry dragons and swept out. The sharp petals were like blades, slicing their bodies madly. What is this? Someone screamed in horror. However, Longu Sheiwa's attack was all-pervasive. Even though they were powerful divine seedlings and their strength was comparable to that of the third heaven of the Emperor, without the power of the domain, they were just fish in front of Longu Sheiwa. No! Save me! Ancestor! Puff, puff, puff. They struggled madly, but were soon swallowed by the petals and eventually chopped into blood foam. Whoosh! Endless petals gathered into the dragon bone evil moon, slowly hanging behind Long Chun. At this time, all the young strong men who hunted the Purple Blood Clan were killed except Wei Wuqing. At this time, Wei Wuqing's face was as pale as paper, skinny as a stick, and his hair was already gray. He overdrew his life to improve everyone, but in the end, it was in vain. At that moment he was completely desperate. Bang! The guqin fell from his hand. He stared at Long Chun and gritted his teeth and said, "You can't kill me, because I am." Puff! A petal flew out, pierced his head, and brought out a burst of blood rain. You! Wei Wuqing pointed at Long Chun. He wanted to say something, but his consciousness had gradually fallen into darkness and slowly fell to the ground. Is there anyone in this world that I, Long Chun, can't kill? Long Chun sneered, waved his hand, and directly put away the guqin. This guqin is not ordinary, so he can keep it for the time being, and it's okay if he doesn't need to sell it. Buzz! Suddenly, a terrifying imperial power came, and the whole world suddenly sank. Yu Shaoqian and others were shocked. This was the domain pressure of the Emperor's third-level strongmen. Run away! I can't stop him. Puff! At this moment, an anxious voice came from the 9 heavens. Buzz! Suddenly, the void twisted, and a murderous figure appeared, with a blood-red war halberd, breaking through the air. Damn human boy, dare to kill my disciple. I will pull out your tendons, peel off your skin, and grind your bones to ashes. Run! An anxious roar came, and figures flew down from the sky. They were old men of the beginning demon clan. At this time, their blood and chi were exhausted. Obviously, they used the forbidden technique of desperate efforts. At the beginning, they fought fiercely with the enemy and still retained some strength. When Yu Shaoqian's barrier was broken, the enemy frantically blocked their rescue, and they planned to use the forbidden technique. As a result, Long Chun came over and the situation was reversed in an instant. However, this time the enemy began to fight desperately. They were anxious to rescue their clansmen, and the strong men of the beginning demon clan also fought desperately. Although they stopped for a while, someone still broke free from their joint efforts and killed them. They fought back desperately, but they couldn't catch up with the man's speed. Run separately, how many can escape? Count as many. The strong men of the beginning demon clan shouted anxiously. They finally got the opportunity and must seize it. There is no need to run, but you have to retreat far away. Don't burst blood. Long Chen's voice echoed between heaven and earth, like the whisper of the god of war, spreading throughout the world. Buzz! The demon moon cauldron was activated, wrapping everyone and teleporting thousands of miles away. But this distance was obviously not enough, and everyone was still retreating. Arrogant! The old man who was the first to kill roared. The war halberd whistled, and the sonic boom shook the sky. He had already merged his 3 bodies into one and entered a desperate state. This attack contained all his life strength. The gate of life open! Long Chen shouted, and the divine ring emerged. The sea of stars covered the sky. A huge star gate opened from behind Long Chen, and the galaxy surged and poured into Long Chen's body. Bang! Facing the full-strength attack of the Emperor's third-level strongman, the star's big hand opened and actually grabbed the spike of the war halberd directly. Boom, boom! The breath was agitated, and thousands of roars roared. This devastating blow was caught by Long Chun and could no longer move forward. How is it possible? The old man from the third-level Emperor roared. a spent-down emperor of the third heaven, with less than 80% of his usual strength. Who gave you the courage to yell in front of me? Long Chun grabbed the halberd, his eyes filled with murderous intent. I killed your descendants. Are you anxious? Are you angry? You killed so many children of the first demon clan. Have you ever thought about their anger? Long Chen's voice was like the roar of a god. Every word and every sound was like the sound of a divine drum and fairy bell, reaching the sky and the underworld. Die! Long Chen roared, and pushed the halberd in his hand forward fiercely, shouting like thunder. Puff! The strong man of the third heaven of the emperor was pierced through the body by the end of the halberd, and the star power on the halberd burst out, directly blowing him into powder. Even if this man was in his prime, Long Chun would not be afraid of him, but he had been fighting for a long time, and even burned his life to use forbidden techniques, and was no longer in his peak state. In front of Long Chun he was not good enough and was killed with one blow. Buzz! At this moment, a fairy bell fell towards Long Chun. The fairy bell was as big as a mountain, and the aura of destruction had already locked onto Long Chun. Give it back to you! Long Chun shouted, and slapped his hands fiercely. The mountain-like bell trembled slightly, and rushed towards its owner at a faster speed. Bang! With a loud bang, its owner was directly hit and exploded by the fairy bell, turning into a blood mist all over the sky. Whoosh! The halberd in Long Chen's hand, covered with endless stars, slammed hard on the fairy bell. The two imperial weapons collided and perished together. Their original power was instantly detonated. Puff, puff, puff. The hostile emperors just rushed over and were directly hit by the terrifying aftermath, and blood spurted out one by one. The emperors of the Shurimo clan were originally desperately chasing, but when they saw the scene in front of them, they were completely stunned. The terrifying emperors were actually unable to fight back in front of a human emperor. Who? The wings of Kuanping fluttered behind Long Chun, and he appeared in front of an old woman. The old woman screamed in fear and swung her long whip. But the long whip was a soft weapon and a long weapon. When Long Chun got close to her, she was sentenced to death. Puff! Long Chun punched the old woman directly. In the blink of an eye, 3 emperors of the third heaven were killed. In front of Long Chun, they had no power to fight back. He has the wings of Kuanping. We can't outrun him. Only by working together can we have a glimmer of hope. An old man of the demon clan shouted anxiously. He was afraid that everyone would lose confidence and run away directly. In that case, they would really have no chance. Join forces to attack. The other emperors understood. If they wanted to survive, they had to unite everyone's strength. Boom! They roared, blood and energy gushed out, and the 5 magic weapons trembled wildly. They fought desperately, not hesitating to consume their blood souls and lifespans, and raised the power of the Emperor's weapons to the extreme. Die! 5 divine weapons gathered together and smashed towards Long Chun at the same time. Die, little beast! Even a 4th-level Emperor might not be able to take this blow. The demon clan strongman roared. Long Chun snorted coldly and opened his hands. Purple blood controls the star's imperial sky shield. Buzz, buzz, buzz. In the purple divine light, the stars were shining, and 3 shields covered with stars appeared in front of Long Chun. Boom, boom, boom. 3 consecutive explosions sounded, and the imperial sky shield exploded one after another. However, when the last imperial sky shield exploded, the 5 divine weapons had already lost their luster and exhausted all their power. This is the imperial sky shield that Long Chun has improved, which combines the power of purple blood with the power of stars. Since it retains the toughness of purple blood, it also increases the violence of star power. Not only does it increase the defensive power, but it also increases the rebound power. The 5 people's combined attack was offset by the 3 shields. Crack, crack, crack. The huge recoil force was too much for even the Emperor's arms to bear. They began to crack, and finally, with a loud bang, they all exploded. How is this possible? The 5 emperors' third heaven strongmen roared. They couldn't believe what they saw. The blow that carried all their hopes was blocked just like that. At that moment, they were completely desperate. Their emperor's flame had reached the bottom. Their origin power was almost exhausted. Their blood soul was completely weakened, and their emperor's arms were completely destroyed. The failure of this blow directly sentenced them to death. We accept that we can die at the hands of the first person of the young generation of the human race. Let's do it. The old man of the demon clan gritted his teeth and said, I am invincible below the emperor, and I can exchange 1 for 1 above the emperor. It seems that this sentence is not bragging. But don't be complacent. My blood clan will definitely avenge me. These emperor's third heaven strongmen were full of unwillingness. But they knew that they would die today. Die in my hands? Do you deserve it? Long Chun turned around and looked at the dazed warriors of the beginning demon clan, and shouted loudly, Warriors of the beginning demon clan, blood debts must be repaid with blood. Use your weapons to cut them into pieces. Use their blood to commemorate the sacrificed warriors and comfort the unwilling souls. At the same time, use their blood to declare war on this world. Kill. Long Chen's words immediately made the eyes of the beginning demon clan's warriors red. When they thought of their dead relatives, they went completely crazy. Long Chun, you beast! The emperors roared, but their roars were quickly cut off by the sharp blades. The emperors of the third level were directly chopped into meat paste by the random swords. Ah! When the strong men of the third level of the emperor were hacked to death, their death still could not vent the anger in the hearts of the disciples of the Shuremo clan. They roared like wild beasts. In the endless escape, too many people of the Shuremo clan died. The pain of losing their loved ones can only be understood by those who have experienced it. Long Chun. Yu Shaoqian came to Long Chun, choking with sobs. Long Chun stretched out his arms and embraced her petite body. Yu Shaoqian lay in Long Chen's arms, letting her tears flow freely, as if she wanted to vent all her grievances. Long Chen's big hand gently stroked Yu Shaoqian's hair, full of heartache. Her thin shoulders were carrying a burden that she could not bear at all. Long Chen said in a deep voice, Shaoqian, don't cry first. I know everyone is very tired, but now is not the time to relax. Our people are not out of danger yet. We must support them quickly. Time is life. Yu Shaoqian wiped her tears and stopped crying. Long Chen was right. There were still many people who had not joined, and they were all facing pursuit. Long Chen, what should we do now? Yu Shaoqian asked. Although she was the saint lady of the Shuremo clan and the supreme leader in the past, it was others who said this to her. Now that Long Chen is here, she can completely leave everything to Long Chen. In this world, no one is more reliable than him. Long Chen said, Then I won't be pretentious. Several seniors you spread out in a fan shape. If the attack team can still hold on, you should not take action first, but save those teams in critical situations first. Because once you take action, the powerful men of the third heaven of the Emperor on the periphery will definitely receive the message and kill them instantly. So, once you take action, you must fight quickly and decisively, run away immediately after killing, and never entangle. I killed those strong men just now, and I collected some clues from their soul fragments. The scale of the enemy this time is unprecedentedly powerful. After completing the blockade, they were not in a hurry to close the net. The strong men of the third heaven of the Emperor are basically on the periphery. Unless there is a critical situation, they will not take action. The reason they did this was also to prevent the Emperor's third heaven from being triggered by internal conflicts. The battle of the powerful people of the third heaven. After all, they all formed an alliance for the sake of interests, and there are many internal conflicts. There are so many powerful people of the third heaven of the Emperor on your side because they are regarded as the main force. These forces secretly sent messages, and they came in secretly, so the probability of you encountering the powerful people of the third heaven of the Emperor on the way is very low. Therefore, even if your strength is only 10% or 20%, it is not a big problem, but this kind of thing will soon be covered up. We don't have much time, and there is only one chance. It is best to start from the outer area. Only in this way can we not abandon any team. Long Chun quickly described the battle plan, because to the beginning demon clan, Long Chun is an outsider. Even if he has a relationship with Yu Shaoqian, it may not make everyone trust him wholeheartedly. Therefore, the plan must be made clear, otherwise they will have concerns and distrust in their hearts, which will ruin the big thing. After all, these powerful people of the third heaven of the Emperor are already at the end of their strength. If they encounter the powerful people of the same level in their prime, they will definitely die. Yes, sir. All the powerful people of the third heaven of the Emperor of the beginning demon clan saluted Long Chun, dragged their tired bodies, and disappeared in an instant. Long Chun looked at the young disciples of the beginning demon clan and said, "Other warriors of the beginning demon clan, you can't sit idle either. The ancestors will search the outer areas, and you will divide into small teams to support other teams in the core areas. Remember, don't disrupt the balance of the battlefield in an instant. Once the enemy is in danger of being wiped out, they will send out a distress signal, which will attract the strong men of the Emperor's third heaven." Yes. In their hearts, Long Chun was already a godlike existence in this battle. Seeing that Saint Lady trusted Long Chun so much, they immediately turned into dozens of teams and flew away after hearing the order. They were originally small teams, but they came to support Yu Shaoqian because she was discovered. It was not difficult for them to support separately. "Long Chun, what should we do?" Yu Shaoqian said. "We have more important things to do." After Long Chun finished speaking, he pulled Yu Shaoqian and flew straight to the depths of the Emperor's land. That place was exactly the place where Yu Shaoqian and the others had planned to meet. Yu Shaoqian was puzzled. Why didn't Long Chun take her to support other teams, but took her to the depths instead? However, she believed that Long Chun must have his reasons for doing so, so she refrained from asking. On the way, Long Chun gave Yu Shaoqian a pill to quickly restore her power as a human emperor. "Shaoqian, why is your cultivation so low?" Long Chun asked. "Because including Yu Shaoqian, the cultivation of all the younger generation disciples is the first level of the emperor without exception. After advancing to the human emperor, we need to be baptized in the demon sealing land to completely activate the clan pattern. The human emperor realm is an extremely important realm for our Shur-Mo clan. If we do not activate the clan pattern, we will improve our realm. In the future, the power of our clan pattern will be greatly reduced, and we may not even be able to suppress the monsters." Yu Shaoqian explained. Long Chun nodded. "So that's how it is. The younger generation of the Shur-Mo clan is not weak, but they have suffered a great loss in realm. In order to activate the clan pattern to suppress monsters, so many people of the Shur-Mo clan died." Long Chen's heart was bleeding. "Are the people who hunted the Shur-Mo clan a group of beasts?" "Long Chun, it's great to have you here," Yu Shaoqian said softly, looking at Long Chen's resolute face and feeling the strength of the big hand holding her slender waist. Long Chun looked at Yu Shaoqian's beautiful eyes full of fatigue and said distressedly, "Everything will be fine. I don't understand. We are obviously here to protect this world. Why do I feel that the whole world is against us?" Yu Shaoqian's pretty face was full of grievances. She didn't know what the Shur-Mo clan did wrong. They can't represent the whole world. If they can really represent the whole world, then overthrow the whole world. Long Chun said. Long Chen's eyes were full of cold murderous intent. He walked from the mortal world to the fairy world, and the essence of the world has never changed. In the eyes of the mortal world, becoming a fairy and a god means longevity, worry-free and free. But the real fairy world is more barbaric and bloody than the mortal world. Here, black and white are reversed and right and wrong are confused. It is not the fairy world, but hell. Good people often can't have a good end, but evil people live a happy life. What's wrong with this world? Am I wrong? Or is this world wrong? When I, Long Chun, ascend to the peak of the 9 heavens, the laws of this world will be rewritten by me. Long Chen's eyes were full of cold murderous intent. At this time he completely saw his own path, which was paved with countless corpses. When the world order is in chaos, killing to stop killing and violence to fight violence are the simplest and most effective means. We have arrived at the meeting place. When Yu Shaoqian saw the surroundings, she recognized that this was the place they had marked. At this time, Long Chun quietly made a gesture to her to keep quiet. Long Chun led her forward quietly. When they climbed over a mountain and saw the scene ahead, Yu Shaoqian's face turned pale. So many powerful emperors of the third level? Yu Shaoqian was completely desperate. She saw more than 30 emperors of the third level in front of her, working together to activate a barrier. OM. Suddenly the barrier trembled, and everyone disappeared. Did they leave? Yu Shaoqian was surprised and happy, but she felt something was wrong. This was not in line with common sense. They didn't leave. The barrier was set up and they were hidden in the void. You can't see anything from the outside. Once we rush over, the trap will be triggered and we will be trapped in an instant. Long Chen said, if more than 30 emperors attack at the same time, they will be enough to destroy us countless times. Why do they go to such trouble? Yu Shaoqian said puzzledly. Long Chun pondered for a moment and said, in order to deal with you, Brahma Pill Valley has brought in many forces. Could it be that even Pill Valley is afraid of your revenge? Yu Shaoqian sighed and said, if we can't enter the demon-sealed land, there is no future at all. Although we left half of us as seeds, our strength is too weak and we can't break through their blockade at all. What's in the demon-sealed land? Long Chen asked. Yu Shaoqian shook her head and said, for countless years, we have been hunted down by the beginning demon clan, and many of our inheritances have been cut off. Now, we only know that we can get our inheritance by entering the demon-sealed land. As for what is in the demon-sealed land, no one knows. Long Chen nodded. It seems that there are extraordinary things in the demon-sealed land. Once the beginning demon clan obtains it, even the Brahma lineage will be afraid of it. Therefore, they have brought in a large group of allies. If the beginning demon clan enters the demon-sealed land and revive its glory, then these allies will inevitably be liquidated, which is equivalent to tying these forces together. According to Long Chen's understanding of the Brahma lineage, they can indeed do such a thing. Using a little elixir as bait can prevent trouble before it happens, and can also lure those wavering forces which can be said to kill many birds with one stone. In addition, they have gone to such great lengths to set up traps, and they should try to catch as many people alive as possible. And their direction to you is very clear. It is very likely that someone in the beginning demon clan has defected. Long Chen said. Hearing the word betrayal, Yu Shaoqian's face showed a gloomy color. The Sure Mo clan has a special secret method, and no one can forcibly search the soul. But if someone can't stand the torture and spits out the location of the gathering place, it is not impossible. Long Chun gently patted Yu Shaoqian's shoulders, hugged her in his arms, and said softly, don't be afraid. I'm here. Everything can be done. Long Chen knew that Yu Shaoqian was a little desperate. The enemy already knew the gathering place, and it was too late to notify others and choose a new gathering place. Because the enemy's big net has begun to close, there is no possibility of breaking through. The people outside will press on with all their strength and force them into this trap. Even if Long Chen has a strong power to kill the strong men of the third level of the Emperor, this time there are more than 30 strong men of the third level of the Emperor, and the formation has been arranged, the advantage is completely on their side. In addition, if it is Long Chen himself, he can still give it a try, but now the team of the Sure Mo clan has quickly moved towards this side, and it will be gone in at most one stick of incense. These people from the Sure Mo clan, including Yu Shaoqian, would not only not provide any help to Long Chun, but would instead drag him down, which made her completely collapse. Long Chun. Yu Shaoqian choked up. She felt so useless. Long Chun held Yu Shaoqian's pretty face with both hands, kissed her smooth forehead gently, and smiled confidently. When I have confidence, there is no difficulty in this world that can stop me. Believe me? Yu Shaoqian looked at Long Chun, looking at his confident eyes, just like the warm sun in winter, which can dispel all the cold. Yu Shaoqian was immediately refreshed and nodded vigorously. There is still a little time. Let's take a rest. And when they arrive, we will directly break the formation. Long Chen said. After that, he asked Yu Shaoqian to recover quickly. Although it was only a short time, it was enough for Long Chen. Because Long Chen had roughly mastered the power of the Gate of Life, he could use the power of the stars in the sky through the Gate of Life, and his original star power was not consumed much. What he wanted to recover now was his mental state and let his body relax. The time of an incense stick was enough. Next, it was a real fierce battle. The same emperors of the third heaven had different strengths, and the gap was very large. Before, Long Chen killed those emperors of the third heaven in a row, and it seemed so easy. That was because they had huge losses and many of their big moves had been released. And what Long Chen had to face next were all emperors in their prime. Once the battle started, life and death were unpredictable. Senior, the people of the Shur-Mo clan will be handed over to you in a while. Long Chen said to Chen Ding. You have to think about it. Although I can protect them temporarily, once I protect them, I can't protect you. Chen Ding said in a deep voice. Obviously, Chen Ding was not optimistic about Long Chen. There were many dangers and he was on the verge of death. Without it, the consequences would be unpredictable. Don't you know me yet? Long Chen smiled slightly. Okay, I will be responsible for breaking the formation in a while, and then I will take the people of the Shur-Mo clan away. However, this emperor's land is full of dangers and cannot be crossed. I will take them into the depths and choose a place to hide. I won't go too far. In case you are in danger, I can kill you as soon as possible. Chen Ding said. Long Chen nodded. That's what he meant. It's really annoying. My blood moon rune is just a little bit away from condensing. As long as I can condense the blood moon rune, no matter how many emperors of the third heaven are just a bunch of chickens, they can't do anything to you. Longu Sheiyue said. It's okay. If you kill a few more emperors of the third heaven, you can condense the blood moon rune. Isn't it different? Long Chen's heart moved, and he said with some surprise. It's different. Even if I condense the blood moon rune, I still need you to brand the soul mark, which takes a certain amount of time. You can't brand it during the battle, so my power can't be used at all. Long Guxieyu said angrily. After hearing this, Long Chen felt disappointed. In other words, Long Guxieyu's blood moon rune could not be relied on for the time being. Before, he had always heard Long Guxieyu bragging about how powerful the second form was, and Long Chen was full of expectations for it. But now it seems that Long Guxieyu can't be relied on in the crisis at hand. Ha! At this moment, the void trembled, and the first team of the first demon clan's strong men arrived at the first time, followed by the second team and the third team. The efficiency of the first demon clan is still very high, and those old men in the third level of the Emperor also have excellent command capabilities. They calculated the time and route, and within half an incense stick of time, millions of the first demon clan's strong men gathered. At that moment, Yu Shaoqian suddenly became nervous. All the powerful men of the Shur-Mo clan were excited, thinking that all the crises were over. Only she knew that the biggest crisis was right in front of her. OM. Chen Ding appeared in the void, and the divine pattern flowed, rushing forward. Boom! A barrier appeared, and as soon as the barrier appeared, it exploded. More than 30 powerful men of the Emperor's third heaven behind the barrier were shocked and flew backwards, looking at Chen Ding with a look of shock. Now! Just as the attention of all the Emperor's powerful men was attracted by Chen Ding, the wings of Kuanping behind Long Chen trembled, and he appeared silently beside a powerful man of the Emperor's third heaven, and the dragon bone evil moon slashed down quickly. Puff! Before the powerful emperor of the demon clan understood what was going on, a head soared into the sky, and the blood of the emperor fell into the sky, opening the prelude to the war. His group of powerful emperors, hiding behind the formation, sensed the arrival of the army of the beginning demon clan, and a cruel smile appeared on their faces. In their view, this hunt was just a cat-and-mouse game, and everything was under control. However, just as they were waiting for the beginning demon clan's strongmen to enter the trap, the appearance of the Chen Ding completely stunned them. Long Chen rushed into the crowd from another angle, killing a powerful demon with a knife. On his other hand, thunder shot out and pierced through the head of an old man. In an instant he killed two terrifying beings. But just when Long Chun attacked the third person, the man roared and slapped Long Chun with a palm. With a boom sound, Long Chun flew backwards. At this time, Long Chun was in a hidden state using the most basic attacks. This is the disadvantage of sneak attacks, and Long Chun is not good at sneak attacks. If it was a killer from the Dark Knight clan with such a good opportunity, he could at least kill 5 or 6 people in an instant. This is the difference. Long Chun. When Long Chun was blown away, the strong men of the third level of the Emperor immediately recognized Long Chun and roared to kill him. The strong men of the beginning demon clan were desperate when they saw more than 30 strong men of the third level of the Emperor. When they saw these people killing Long Chun, they roared, and although they knew they would die, they still rushed over. OM. At this moment, the Chenkuan cauldron glowed, and the strong men of the beginning demon clan suddenly felt their bodies lighten, and were unexpectedly sucked into the cauldron uncontrollably. Long Chun. Yu Shaoqian exclaimed. Before, Long Chun said that there was a way, and she thought that Long Chun was calculating how to use the power of everyone to break through their blockade. But now she realized that Long Chun wanted to hold back these more than 30 strong men of the third level of the Emperor by himself. At that moment, she rushed out like crazy. But the power of the Chenkuan cauldron was not something she could contend with. She could not break through at all, and watched helplessly as she was getting farther and farther away from the battlefield. Want to run? A strong man saw the Chenkuan cauldron leaving with the strong men of the beginning demon clan, sneered, and was about to take action. All of you stay here. Long Chun shouted angrily. His divine ring lifted up the sky. The sea of stars circulated. The star gate opened, and the violent power of the stars radiated the universe. 4-star prisoner demon. Boom, 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 boom. As Long Chun formed seals with his hands, beams of starlight shot down from the sea of stars, piercing the earth and forming 4 pillars that lifted up the sky. Buzz, 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 buzz. Between the 4 pillars of stars, starlight circulated, forming a series of barriers. Above his head was the sea of stars, and under his feet was the earth. Everything was blocked, including Long Chun. Long Chun could increase the power of his divine arts when he was in the divine arts, which was why Long Chun trapped himself in it. You want to trap us with a small barrier? Long Chun, you are too naive. Not only will you die today, but none of them will be able to escape either. A monster with scaly horns on its head sneered. Boom! The 3 emperor bodies behind him trembled, and he punched hard on the barrier. As a result, the barrier shook, and the monster of the third level of the emperor groaned and was shocked back several steps. What? His face changed drastically. How could a little human emperor boy set up such a terrifying barrier? Boom, boom, boom. The strong man of the third level of the emperor, who didn't believe in evil, waved his fists and attacked the barrier frantically. As a result, each attack was bounced back. The last time, he was shocked so much that his blood surged and had to stop. This barrier is a fusion of the power of the stars and the sky control technique of the Purple Blood Clan. I am in the formation and use myself as the center of the formation. As long as I am alive, you can't get out. Long Chun said coldly. Then kill you first. The monster of the third level of the Emperor was obviously impatient. When others were still hesitating, he immediately killed Long Chun. Long Chun's appearance was too sudden, which made the other masters feel something was wrong. So they were very cautious. Behind Long Chun were the Purple Blood Clan, the Dragon Clan, and the Ling Shao Academy. It was obviously unreasonable for Long Chun to stop so many of them alone. So these old guys became very cautious. The monster was impatient and brainless. He didn't think about anything. His 5 fingers were like hooks, grabbing at Long Chun fiercely, dragging his nails along the cracks in the void, and rushed to Long Chun in an instant. Ha! However, the moment he pounced in front of Long Chun's figure disappeared, and his attack missed instantly. You bunch of idiots, the divine pattern of the beginning demon clan is the destiny pattern that suppresses the demons and monsters. With them, the 9 heavens and 10 earths can better fight against monsters. Why are you doing this? Long Chun dodged the attack of the monster old man and said with a gloomy face, "Stop talking useless nonsense. Without the beginning demon clan we can still resist monsters. I will kill anyone I don't like. Do I need a reason?" The monster old man said disdainfully. After speaking, his figure flashed and split into 2, and pounced on Long Chun at the same time. Both bodies were filled with a strong imperial aura, making it difficult to tell which was the clone and which was the original body. The monsters who can use this kind of human secret method are generally beings with special bloodlines. Who? However, Long Chun did not engage in direct combat with him. The wings of Kuanping behind him trembled, and every time they swayed, they left a residual shadow. The man could not catch up with him at all. Long Chun, do you want to delay time? It's useless. The strong men of the Shur Mo clan have been left with tracking marks by Lord Long Can. With their strength, they can't detect it at all. No matter how far they run, it's useless. Their end is death, and no one can change it. An old man stood with his hands behind his back, saying with a mocking face. Facing the old man's ridicule, Long Chen's heart moved, secretly cursing himself for not having enough brains. He didn't even think of this, and thought that someone in the Shur Mo clan had betrayed. I have found the mark. Give me half an incense stick of time and I can erase it. However, once it is erased, Long Chen will probably know it immediately, and if things go wrong, he will come to kill immediately. After all, no one knows how much she has recovered now. At this moment, the voice of Chen Kuan-Ding came, with a hint of worry in his voice. Long Chen, one of the 8 great gods in the past, was a terrifying warrior in the Chaos era. With the power of faith from the great Brahma, her recovery speed must be amazing. The last time Long Chen passed the tribulation, she was already at the 3rd level of the Emperor. Maybe now she is at the 4th level of the Emperor, or even the 5th level. It doesn't matter. Last time, this guy had his arm cut off by the Lord of the Palace, and his vitality was seriously injured. After losing so much power of faith, it will take some time to heal, and he may not be able to advance. Senior, just erase the mark. Don't worry too much, Long Chen said. Just as Long Chun was communicating with Chen Kuan-Ding's spiritual consciousness, the demon clan warrior, who had been unable to attack for a long time, suddenly opened his mouth and a blood-colored divine light pierced through the sky. Boom! The blood-colored divine light was too fast, and Long Chun didn't have time to dodge it. He could only punch to resist. As a result, there was a loud bang. The divine light was shattered, and Long Chun was shocked back several steps. On Long Chen's fist, strange runes appeared, quickly wrapping around Long Chen's body. Little beast, you've been hit by my blood curse. How can you run? Die. The monster of the 3rd level of the Emperor's heaven had a gloomy face, and opened his big mouth. A black sword actually emerged from it. The sword swelled in the wind and shot out at Long Chun. They have gone far enough. Let's start. Boom! With a bang, the curse runes wrapped around Long Chun were blown up by the endless starlight. Snap! Long Chen's big hand covered with stars grabbed the black long sword, shook it slightly, and the long sword disappeared instantly. Puff! When the long sword disappeared, the Emperor's monster spurted out a mouthful of blood. The moment his life-definition magic weapon was disconnected from his soul, the soul attached to the magic weapon also disappeared. Ha! Just as his soul was injured and his body was shaking, a big star hand grabbed his throat and lifted him up in the air like a chicken. The old man was grabbed by the throat by Long Chun, and the endless starlight wrapped his body. He wanted to struggle and roar, but he could only make strange sounds in his throat, but he couldn't speak. However, the powerful people in the 3rd level of the Emperor in the barrier just watched it all coldly, and no one stepped forward to help. Some of them even had a gloating smile on their lips. Hoo-hoo! The monster old man waved his palms and kicked his feet, with fear in his eyes. You deprive others of their lives at will, but you are so afraid of death. It turns out that you also know the preciousness of life. Long Chen sneered. Puff! Long Chen exerted force with his big hand, and the body of the emperor monster exploded, along with the emperor behind him. When the gate of life is opened, the domain of the powerful people in the third level of the emperor is invalid, and the ability of the emperor's body is also deprived. The myth that the emperor's body is indestructible and the original body is immortal no longer exists. Tsk, it's really amazing. A strong man of the third level of the emperor was killed just like that. The old man with a pale face and a huge scroll on his back couldn't help but admire. The old man was tall and thin, and the scroll he carried was thicker and taller than his waist, which looked very strange. The Horned Owl clan is originally a group of inferior races. It seems that this is nothing, a middle-aged woman carrying a guqin said lightly. That can't be said. Long Chen is not an emperor Miao. He doesn't have the emperor Qi. With the power of the stars alone, he can ignore the domain and directly crush. He is really strong. However, such strength, known as the first person of the young generation of the human race, seems to be a little insufficient. The old man carrying the scroll looked at Long Chen, and a hint of sarcasm appeared on the corner of his mouth. From the strength you have shown so far, it seems that there is no pressure to deal with the strong man of the divine seed with 50 emperor flames. But in front of the genius who awakened 100 emperor flames, your strength is not enough. Long Chen narrowed his eyes. 100 emperor flames? If a person can really awaken 100 imperial flames, then he is indeed a terrifying existence. Times have changed, and the 9 stars lineage has not declined. Long Chen can be regarded as a leader of the 9 stars lineage. In my Qin sect, there are at least 8 people who are stronger than you. The era of the 9 stars descendants has passed. The Brahma lineage is really making a fuss. The middle-aged woman carrying the ancient zither laughed. Long Chen looked at the two coldly. These two seemed to be the leaders of this team. Except for the demon clan strongman he killed, everyone else seemed to follow their lead. Since they were not in a hurry, Long Chen was not in a hurry either. He let them sing the same tune and see what they wanted to express. This Long Chen is not a pure 9-star descendant. He must have obtained the 9-star inheritance through some means. However, he has been able to cultivate the 9-star magical power to this level, which has surpassed most of the 9-star descendants. After all, we have killed so many 9-star descendants, but it seems that we have never seen anyone with his strength. An old man with a long sword on his back, with a faint aura, stared at Long Chen with a pair of eyes like sharp swords, as if he wanted to see through Long Chen's soul. Seeing the old man, Long Chen instantly burst into murderous intent. Before he broke those sky-peaking divine mirrors, countless 9-star descendants were killed. Long Chen was still wondering, how could such a powerful 9-star descendant be massacred on a large scale? It seems that such a group of people volunteered to be thugs for the Brahma lineage. Forget it. Let's not waste time talking to him. Taking him down is also an explanation to the Brahma Pill Valley. Brahma Pill Valley arranged us here and set up a large formation. Everything was done according to their arrangement. Now that an accident has occurred, it is none of our business. As long as we capture Long Chen, we can report back. The Qin sect woman said. Through the conversation between these people, Long Chen's heart moved. Suddenly, he understood that these people were just doing their job. Perhaps deep down in their hearts, they did not want to wipe out the first demon clan, because the first demon clan was a magical weapon against monsters. But they did not want to offend Brahma Pill Valley, so they had to come here. Now that Long Chen came to kill them, it just gave them an excuse, so they did not make a move to break Long Chen's barrier. It is estimated that beings of their level also have amazing backgrounds, and Brahma Pill Valley can't do anything to them. They came here just to give face to Pill Valley. The same is true for the strong men of other tribes, so Brahma Pill Valley put this a group of passive and lazy people stayed here. Knowing that they just wanted to get by, Brahma Pill Valley gave them an easy task, which was to set up a barrier to block the first demon clan. Because Brahma Pill Valley believed that even if the first demon clan died of exhaustion, they would not be able to break the barrier, so there was no other deployment. As for those positive strong men, they were all pulled into the hunting team, one attacking and one defending, and the layout was reasonable. Although they did not defend against the first demon clan, everyone saw the scene of the divine cauldron breaking the barrier. Moreover, it has been rumored that Long Chun may have the legendary Chenkuan cauldron in his hands. Who can resist such a divine weapon? Although everyone is jealous of the Chenkuan cauldron, no one dares to fight for it. Snatch it because it is a hot potato. Killing Long Chun is not difficult, but after killing Long Chun, he will inevitably encounter bloody revenge from the Dragon Clan, the Purple Blood Clan, and the Lingxiao Academy. Even if he can withstand the bloody revenge of the three families, this thing will also attract the covetousness of countless people, especially the Brahma lineage, which may bring about a fatal disaster. The most important thing is that whether the Chenkuan Ding in Long Chen's hand is real or fake has not been verified. After all, Long Chun once used the Chenkuan Ding to deceive people, and Longting Commercial Bank was fooled. Another point is that some people say that the Chenkuan Ding in Long Chen's hand is actually the Kuan Ding of the Chenkuan Ding. It can only be used to refine pills and cannot be used in combat. As for other forces, getting an alchemy cauldron is useless. This alchemy cauldron can only shine in the hands of Brahma Alchemy Valley. In short, many people no longer care whether the Chenkuan Ding in Long Chen's hand is real or fake. Whoever tries to grab this thing is a fool. When Long Chun completely understood the thoughts of this group of people, he carefully felt their breath and found that they had a strong bloody smell. That breath was extremely unique. It was the blood of the 9 Stars descendants. Only Long Chun could sense it. In other words, they were stained with the blood of countless 9 Stars descendants. Among the crowd, the old man with a long sword on his back had the strongest bloody smell, which means that he killed the most 9 Stars descendants. Forget it. Let me try his strength. It's easy to kill him if you take action. The old man carrying the scroll stepped out of the crowd and walked towards Long Chun step by step. He walked calmly and his face was full of confidence. When he was 10 steps in front of Long Chun, he stopped and said lightly, "Boy, I allow you to attack first, otherwise, you won't even have a chance to attack." Pa! Before he could finish his words, Long Chun cooperated very well and attacked first, slapping him in the face. Bang! Long Chen's slap was so strong that no one could escape from this blow at a distance of 10 steps. The moment the old man was slapped, strange runes appeared on his face, but these runes failed to block Long Chen's palm for him, and his face was directly smashed. The old man flew backwards in a spin, hit the star barrier hard, and bounced back, causing everyone to exclaim, "Something is strange." Long Chun was shocked. He attacked as fast as lightning. With his combat experience, he was sure that the old man had no time to activate defense. However, Long Chun felt the breath of the scroll behind him. It should be that the scroll behind him instinctively protected its master and activated the rune. The old man was bounced back and was not injured, but a deep palm print was left on his face. The old man's originally calm face suddenly showed a ferocious look. "Damn little beast. Today I will peel off your skin." Boom! With a loud bang, 3 emperor bodies appeared behind the old man. However, his emperor body was much stronger than that of ordinary strong men. 3 emperor bodies appeared, and the vast imperial power radiated. A terrifying pressure instantly locked Long Chun, and the overwhelming power swept from around Long Chun. He was also a strong man of the 3rd level of the emperor, but the strength of this old man was much stronger. Ha! Suddenly, the scroll behind him shot out, and a long scroll appeared in front of Long Chun. In the scroll there were many beasts. It was painted with blood and essence. Long Chen's heart trembled, and the fierce breath rushed to his face. At that moment, Long Chen's soul trembled, and he was almost sucked into the scroll. Long Chen's body was stiff, his eyes lost focus instantly, and the whole person became sluggish. Little beast, it's just like this. In front of my picture of 100 beasts, it's just an ant. Suppress it. The old man saw that Long Chen's mind was instantly sucked into the scroll, and shouted coldly, opened his big hand, and went straight to Long Chen's neck. On the old man's scroll, there were hundreds of fierce beasts, all of which were drawn with their own essence and blood. And these 100 fierce beasts all had rare soul attack power. Once the scroll was activated, the power of the beasts would be released together, sucking the soul of the person directly into the illusion. Rather than saying it was a scroll, it was better to say it was a battle formation. This kind of attack was almost unsolvable, so he had the confidence to take down Long Chen without bloodshed. It's over. The Qin sect woman couldn't help shaking her head, with a touch of disappointment on her face. This Long Chen was much weaker than she thought. Be careful. At this moment, the old man with a long sword on his back suddenly exclaimed, "Ha!" At the moment when the old man's big hand was about to grab Long Chen's throat, a strange sharp blade pierced the old man's lower abdomen like lightning. What? The old man was shocked. His fingers only needed to move forward a little more to hold Long Chen's neck. As long as he grabbed Long Chen's neck with his strength, Long Chen would never be able to break free. Suddenly, he gritted his teeth and didn't dodge or avoid. The divine light in front of him surged, and he actually used the divine light of body protection to block Long Chen's attack. Puff! The divine light of the old man's body protection was instantly pierced by the sharp blade, and at the same time, a piercing pain came. Countless tentacles appeared on the sharp blade and invaded his internal organs. Ha! Long Chen shook his head slightly, and the old man's big hand passed by his neck. The sharp nails scratched Long Chen's neck with several bloody marks. The old man looked at Long Chen's gloomy eyes and suddenly realized that he had fallen into a trap. Long Chen deliberately pretended that his soul was sucked into the divine picture and his body could not move. When he got close, he suddenly counterattacked, and when counterattacking, he deliberately concealed the fluctuations of the divine weapon so that he could not sense the danger. Long Chen calculated that he was unwilling to retreat and would take a risk. Everything about him was in Long Chen's calculations. Little beast. The old man, realizing that he had been tricked, formed seals with his hands. Explode! Long Chen shouted, and the dragon bone evil moon that was inserted into the old man's lower abdomen exploded into endless petals. Puff, puff, puff. The petals pierced the old man's body from the inside out, almost bursting directly. Die! Long Chen's figure trembled, and he appeared in front of the old man. He pointed a finger at his forehead and shot out a black lightning arrow. Puff! The old man's head was instantly pierced. The black lightning, with endless power of heavenly punishment, penetrated his head, and the 3 emperor bodies behind the old man collapsed instantly. Little beast, die! The old man was killed by Long Chen's blow. The old man with a long sword on his back roared, and the long sword was unsheathed. The terrifying sword energy cut through the void. Long Chen felt a sharp pain in his soul, as if he was cut by an invisible sharp blade. This was a terrifying sword cultivator, and the sword intent attached to it was different from Ling Tian's lineage. This sword could actually hit the soul directly. Fortunately, Long Chen's soul power was boundless and could barely resist this attack. Buzz, buzz, buzz. Long Chen opened his hands, and shields appeared above the void. Each shield was composed of countless petals. Boom, boom, boom. Shields exploded one after another. The sword intent attached to that sword was too terrifying, and Long Chen did not dare to fight it head-on. With more than a dozen shields, he could resist this attack and wipe out its terrifying sword intent, and Longu Sheiyue would not be hurt at all. Zhang! Sounded, and the world twisted and turned upside down. What terrified Long Chen the most was that at that moment, the 9 heavens were dark, as if there was a layer of dark clouds covering the 9 heavens. The galaxies above the heavens were blocked by mysterious forces, and Long Chun was unable to absorb the power of the stars from the 9 heavens for a while, and even the life gate behind him became much dimmer. Foolish boy, my Qin sect's Tai Shang Fu Xing Ju is your nemesis. I use this Ju to play the Fu Xing sound which can block the power of the stars. Without the power of the stars, how can you use your dirty tricks? The Qin sect woman snorted coldly, holding the ancient zither, and actually killed from another direction. Hearing the Tai Shang Fu Xing Ju, Long Chen's heart trembled. When he first heard the name, he felt something was wrong, and now his premonition has come true. The star power around Long Chen quickly dimmed, and his aura was also rapidly declining. At this time, the sword cultivator stepped across the void and appeared in front of Long Chen, slashing at Long Chen with a sword. Pa! Facing the old man's attack, Long Chen snorted coldly, clasped his hands together, and the star power burst out, instantly clamping the old man's long sword. The old man was shocked at first. It was the first time in his life that someone dared to clamp a sword with bare hands. However, he did not use his full strength in this attack. After all, his goal was to catch him alive. Your vision has been blocked. I want to see how much star power you still have. The old man sneered, and his long sword trembled wildly. An endless imperial power was injected into the long sword. Long Chen's vision was blocked, and Long Chen could only use the star power in his dantian. But the star power in his dantian was limited. Facing such a powerful attack, he could not hold on for long. However, Long Chen was not panicked, because he had sensed that the woman from the Qin sect had quietly touched behind him. Buzz! Suddenly, the star power burst out from Long Chen's hands, like a blooming sun, making it impossible to open your eyes. The sword cultivator was startled, thinking that Long Chen was going to use a dirty trick. With a roar, he no longer held back, and the long sword was agitated, and a sword energy slashed out fiercely. Ah! A scream came, but it was not from Long Chen, but from the Qin sect woman. The old sword cultivator was shocked. Could it be? A terrifying sword energy directly penetrated the star barrier set up by Long Chen. Of course, after the starry sky was shielded, the power of the barrier had dropped rapidly, so it would be strange if it was not penetrated. In the endless scattered starlight, half of a woman's body disappeared. The sword just now actually cut off half of her body. The woman was shocked and angry. She saw that the old man suppressed Long Chen and was ready to attack from behind and capture Long Chen in one fell swoop. But she didn't expect that all this fell into Long Chen's calculations. When she entered the attack range, Long Chen directly raised the power of the stars to the extreme, condensing the murderous aura. In the blind state, the old sword cultivator was suddenly shocked and burst out with all his strength. Long Chen took advantage of his panic to break away from the lock and lead the sword energy to the position of the Qin sect woman. Yenling Sword Saint, what are you doing? The Qin sect woman roared. Be careful. The old sword cultivator suddenly shouted in horror. Puff! However, before the Qin sect woman could react, the dragon bone evil moon ruthlessly pierced her head. Buzz! The woman died instantly, and after her death, the dark clouds disappeared, and the bright starlight lit up the world again. The vast power of the stars returned again, and the feeling of being full of power returned again. Little beast, you actually killed them? Go to hell. The old sword cultivator had a hideous face and murderous aura. At this time, he no longer had the thought of leaving anyone alive. The long sword pointed to the sky, and the world changed color. God-killing slash. The old sword cultivator roared, and sword lights shot out, gathering together in the void to form a giant sword. When the giant sword was formed, the void kept trembling, and cracks spread like lightning fireworks. The faces of those emperors changed drastically, and they fled outwards at the first time, fearing that they would be involved. When the sword cultivator used this move, Long Chen was locked by the terrifying aura, and he could not avoid this sword. Buzz! The dragon bone evil moon was in his hand, and the black aura bloomed. like the fangs of a demon, exuding endless fierce brilliance. Let me see what qualifications you have to be called a saint. Buzz buzz. Long Chan snorted coldly. The dragon bone evil moon in his hand was shining brightly with stars, and he slashed out 2 times in succession, and 2,000-mile sword shadows slowly appeared in the void. The sword shadow stood, and the endless starlight flowed, but it just stayed in the void, and did not move forward. Buzz! At this moment, the dragon bone evil moon pointed to the sky again, and the stars were flowing on the blade. A will that looked down on the 9 heavens and destroyed all the ways rose to the sky. Die! The old sword cultivator roared, and the giant sword roared down. 3 styles combined into one open heaven star slash. Long Chan also shouted, and the dragon bone evil moon trembled, and the 3 sword shadows merged into one, and slashed out with one knife. Facing this terrifying sword cultivator, Long Chan did not dare to have any reservations, but the 3-style combination gathered with the power of the stars was his current limit. Boom! The 2 sky-supporting blades slashed together fiercely, and at that moment the world lost its original color, and a ripple spread rapidly. Boom! The mountains were flattened in an instant. Those powerful men of the 3rd heaven of the Emperor who were evacuating quickly were still affected by the ripples and were directly lifted into the sky. The domain they held up was directly blown up, and blood gushed out one by one. They were horrified. Although they knew that this sword cultivator was very terrifying, they did not expect it to be so terrifying. The void was distorted and collapsed in a large area. Smoke and dust were flying, and the divine consciousness could not spread. No one knew whether the 2 would live or die after this attack. Boom! At this time, another explosion sounded, and people were shocked that the 2 were still fighting. Boom! A sword energy pierced through the void, shot out from the center of the battlefield, and went straight to the sky. Swish! A galaxy hung upside down in the sky, splitting the void in 2. Oh my God! What kind of monster is this Long Chan? People were shocked. After such a violent attack, Long Chan was still alive and still fighting with that terrifying sword cultivator. With a loud bang, the void broke open, and a figure flew out backwards. It's Master Yenling! Someone exclaimed, recognizing the person flying backwards, who was Yenling's sword saint. No matter how strong Long Chan is, it's useless. In the end, he can't change the ending of death. People looked at Yenling's sword saint, holding a long sword, standing in the void, and couldn't help but sigh in their hearts. No matter how proud you are, you can only suffer in vain when you meet a sword cultivator. Trample, trample, trample. At this moment, footsteps were heard in the twisted space. This is... People were shocked. They looked at the twisted space in disbelief. A vague figure gradually emerged. As the figure approached, people's faces were full of disbelief. The vague figure gradually became clear, with black hair and black robes, carrying a hideous mad knife on his shoulders, and the black air on the blade wrapped around his figure. Long Chan came out. He seemed like a fierce demon that had been killed from hell, and his fierce breath made the heavens and the worlds tremble. Tick, tick. Blood dripped down Long Chen's palm, but he seemed to feel nothing and walked out step by step. People saw that a blood hole as big as a bowl appeared on Long Chen's chest, and the remaining sword will was constantly destroying his vitality. If it were an ordinary person, a trace of sword will would be enough to annihilate the body, but the wound on Long Chen's chest had an invisible force that was wearing away the sword will, and the blood hole was getting smaller. You, a sword cultivator, are nothing more than that. Long Chan stopped and looked at the Yenling sword saint, with a hint of sarcasm on his lips. Ka ka ka. The long sword in the hands of the Yenling sword saint kept cracking, and people were shocked to find that the Yenling sword saint at this time had a dead face and empty eyes. The sword will of the Yenling sword saint disappeared. Only then did people notice that the Yenling sword saint seemed to be left with only a shell. Puff! Long Chun flicked his finger, and a sharp dragon scale pierced the head of the Yenling Sword Saint. The Yenling Sword Saint trembled and fell to the ground with his head raised. People were shocked. Even a terrifying person like Yenling Sword Saint was killed. The two great masters of Qin sect and Shu sect were also killed. They were all killed by Long Chun. When people looked at Long Chun, their scalps tingled. What level of monster was this? Long Chun, you killed 3 supreme masters. You are indeed terrifying, but now you are probably at the end of your strength. Right? An old man, holding a demon shield in one hand and a white-boned spear in the other, said with a gloomy face. People only then noticed that there were dots of starlight around Long Chun, swaying like a candle, and he looked weak. Even the divine ring disappeared, and the sea of stars above his head gradually disappeared. Ha! Long Chun threw the body of Yenling Sword Saint into the chaotic space, looked at the man, and said coldly, I don't want to fight anymore. If you insist on dying, just come. Who are you trying to scare? Go to hell. The old man sneered, and the white-boned spear in his hand flew out of his hand and shot straight at Long Chun. However, after he threw out the spear, the man did not rush forward, but retreated instead. Obviously, if he saw that the situation was not good, he would be the first to escape. Ha! Facing the man's probing attack, Long Chun did not fight back. He dodged the attack with a flash of his body, and his figure exploded and disappeared into the distorted space of the battlefield. He is already at the end of his strength. Let's go together and kill him. When the strong man saw this scene, he shouted in surprise. The others also saw it and rushed over at the same time. In order not to be defeated one by one, everyone rushed into the battlefield in unison. The space here was distorted, smoke and dust were rolling, and the vision was not visible, and the spiritual consciousness was not clear. When they came in, they felt something was wrong. Here, if they were attacked by surprise, they would easily die. Just as they were about to retreat together, someone exclaimed, What is that? People looked down and saw a huge lotus appeared on the ground, with colorful flames flowing back and forth on the lotus. The flaming lotus was tens of thousands of miles in radius, and they were in the center of the lotus at this time. Looking carefully at the central area of the lotus, people saw millions of petal-like scales, which flashed with cold light and had a sharp breath that was frightening. This is a trap, run! People shouted in fear. Boom! Unfortunately, before they could make any move, the huge lotus exploded, and countless dragon scales, with the power of the fire lotus, flew rapidly and cut through the void. Puff, puff, puff. The space domain of the Emperor's third-level strongman could not withstand the cut of the dragon scales and was directly pierced. The dragon scales instantly cut through his flesh. Ah! Some emperors of the third level of the sky screamed miserably, and their faces were full of fear. When the scales tore their flesh and attached directly to their bodies, they were like the mouths of demons, madly absorbing their blood and soul power. These scales, weakened by the space domain, would not cause them fatal damage, but their absorption ability was too terrifying. The most important thing is that some people were hit by hundreds of scales, which were deeply embedded in their flesh and blood, and even penetrated into their bones and could not be removed. They roared and rushed out frantically. Soon they rushed out of the chaotic space, but in just a few breaths, their breath was rapidly decreasing. Long Chun, you will not die well. After escaping from the chaotic space, people found that Long Chun was standing in the void, looking at them coldly. Some people roared and killed Long Chun, but Long Chun did not fight them head-on. Kuanping's wings kept flapping, and his body was as fast as lightning. Not to mention that these people have begun to weaken. Even if they are in their prime, they can't catch up with Long Chun's speed. After a few breaths, some people finally couldn't hold on, their bodies shriveled up, and they were sucked to death by the dragon bone evil moon. Ha ha ha! The blood moon rune appeared. It's so exciting, so exciting. The dragon bone evil moon shouted arrogantly. Only, Then did Long Chun notice that a blood-colored crescent moon appeared on the petals transformed by the dragon bone evil moon. It looked like a sharp blood-colored sickle, and the evil breath was frightening. Suddenly, a breath that made Long Chen's heart palpitate came, and Long Chun dodged almost instinctively. Boom! A silver spear pierced a big hole in the space where Long Chun was. If Long Chun hadn't dodged quickly, this spear would have pierced Long Chen's body in an instant. Long Chun was shocked. The attack was silent. He didn't react until the attack was approaching. The person who attacked had amazing skills, which even blurred the perception of the 9-star hegemon body art. Long Chun, I finally caught you. If you meet me, your death will come. A voice appeared above the void. With that voice, the silver spear turned into a stream of light and flew into the hands of a man in brocade robes. The man wore a golden crown on his head and a purple belt around his waist. There was a divine light flashing in his eyes. The surging divine power fluctuations around him were stronger than those of the Emperor's third heaven. Son of God! Save me! When someone saw the man, he recognized his identity and shouted for help. However, the man didn't even look at them. He looked at Long Chun coldly with a sharp look. Long Chun looked at the man and couldn't help but tremble in his heart. This man had such a terrifying aura, and his divine power fluctuations were comparable to Long Can. When he saw Long Chun for the first time, a name emerged in Long Chen's mind, Son of Brahma. Long Chun had killed a son of God before, but that son of God had not yet grown up, and the one in front of him had surging divine power and shocking pressure. He was a real strong man. Son of God! People rushed to the man frantically, kneeling in front of him, begging him to save them. A bunch of useless ants. Get out of here! The man raised his sword-like eyebrows, and shook the silver spear in his hand. Surging divine light surged. Puff, puff, puff. The emperors who knelt in front of him were shaken into blood mist and killed instantly. Ha! The man pointed the silver spear in his hand at Long Chun, looking down at him with a hint of sarcasm on his face. I thought you were a tough guy, but you were just a piece of trash. What a disappointment. Last time, a person who claimed to be the Son of God was just like you, with a bigger mouth than athlete's foot. Now, the grass on his grave is already very tall. Long Chun looked at the man and shook his head. The man sneered, Are you talking about Brahmada? What the hell is that? How can he be called the son of Brahma? There are only 4 true sons of Brahma, born with the destiny of the gods. The destiny of the Brahma lineage will only be actively bestowed on the 4 sons and 8 guards. The 4 sons refer to our 4 great sons of God, and the 8 guards refer to the 8 great gods. As for the other so-called sons of God, they are just gimmicks thrown out for the purpose of selecting talents. A group of ants also want to become candidates for the Son of God. It's just a foolish dream. Long Chun narrowed his eyes. So that's it. Among the 8 sons of God, for our candidates. Then Brahmada is the same as Infa King Kong. However, Infa King Kong is even more miserable. He waited for countless years and finally got the opportunity. Just when he saw the dawn and was about to take off, he was killed by Long Chun. My name is Fan Ji. Remember this name, and be a wise ghost. Fan Ji sneered, and stabbed out with the silver spear in his hand. Long Chun suddenly felt that the space around him solidified instantly. Such a strong law power, much stronger than the average Emperor 3-layer strongman. Long Chun was shocked. This Fan Ji was the strongest existence that Long Chun had seen among his peers. The purple air was surging, and the solidified space was instantly disintegrated under the penetration of the purple air. Because of the supreme star-reversing art, Long Chun had consumed too much of the original star power before, and could no longer summon the star battle body. He could only use the power of purple blood to meet the enemy. Imperial Shield. Long Chun opened his hands and the Imperial Shield was instantly opened. With a light pop sound, the invincible Imperial Shield was instantly pierced, and it almost did not affect the silver spear. The power of faith is condensed on the 3-inch spear tip, and even the rebound force of the Imperial shield has failed. Long Chen's heart trembled again. This Fan Ji's divine power can be compressed to this extent? No, this is not his power, but the power of his weapon. Long Chen instantly found the problem. Purple lightning piercing the clouds. Long Chen shouted coldly, and instantly changed his moves. He flicked out a finger, and a purple lightning as thick as a chopstick shot out. You are trying to stop a chariot with a mantis arm. You don't know your own strength. Seeing that Long Chen's shield was broken, he actually fought back with such a weak thunder force, and a mocking look appeared on Fan Ji's face. Boom! However, when the purple lightning accurately hit the tip of the gun, there was a shocking explosion, the void was shattered, and huge ripples spread across the world. Ha! Fan Ji was shocked. The power on the tip of his gun was actually detonated by this inconspicuous lightning. You have some tricks, but it still can't change your fate of defeat. Ha! Fan Ji sneered, and suddenly waved his hand, and a jade plate appeared in the distant void. Today, I will use this jade plate as a photo jade to record the whole process of the so-called first person of the human race being killed. Long Chen looked at the jade plate and became angry. Even if I can't use the power of the stars, I will still abuse you. Purple air comes from the east, illuminating everything, and the Emperor Mountain descends. Long Chen shouted, and purple air gushed out from behind him. A giant mountain broke out of the sky, and the vast and sacred pressure swept across the heavens and myriad worlds. The secret method of the Purple Blood Clan? Humph! Aren't you a descendant of the 9 stars? At this point, you still don't want to use your ultimate move? You're simply courting death. Fan Ji sneered, glanced at the Emperor Mountain behind Long Chen, took a step forward, and on the spear, the silver light was shining brightly, and 2 giant dragons could be seen entwined. Boom! The giant dragon roared, the silver spear whistled out, and the surging divine power shook the world. Are you a fucking idiot? Can't you see the battlefield behind me? Am I not willing to use my ultimate move? Why are all the sons of burning heaven a bunch of idiots? Buzz! With the dragon bone evil moon in hand, the power of purple blood burst out, and purple runes appeared on the dragon bone evil moon. Purple moon slash! Long Chen shouted, and slashed with a knife. This attack was the strongest move of the Lord of Shuangfeng Mountain. Boom! The 2 divine weapons collided, and the silver divine light, like a sharp sword piercing through the sky. Long Chen groaned and flew out. The power of purple blood is nothing more than that. If that's all you can do, you can die. Fan Ji sneered, and the silver spear passed through the void, step by step towards Long Chen. The void kept cracking because of his footsteps, and his momentum was comparable to that of a god. After all, it's not something I have comprehended, and it doesn't belong to me. If I had used it, I would never be so embarrassed. Long Chen shook his head secretly in his heart. Although Long Chen was an Emperor Mountain, he had peaked at the magical powers of the entire clan, and every magical power could be used, but it was someone else's after all. He could use it, but the power was much worse than that of the original. The road of martial arts requires 1 step at a time, and even a step is not enough. Long Chen only has the result but not the process, and this gap is difficult to make up. Boom! The Emperor Mountain behind Long Chen kept shaking, and purple dragons flew out and circled around the Emperor Mountain. The vision of the Emperor Mountain was still being perfected. OM! At this moment, Fan Ji had already arrived, and with a sweep of his spear, endless runes on the spear were surging, and each rune contained the power of faith that could destroy the world. In the runes, Long Chen saw the shadows of statues. Long Chen's heart was pounding. No wonder this divine weapon was so terrifying. Turned out that Fan Ji had his own source of faith. In other words, in the Brahma lineage, the great Brahma allowed the son of Brahma to create his own branch of faith. For example, Fan Ji had 100 statues for believers to worship. The power of faith obtained belonged to him personally, and the silver spear in Fan Ji's hand had tens of thousands of runes. This meant that he had tens of thousands of statues that were worshipped, and all the believers piled up into a tower, and he was the one standing on the top of the tower. Since we can't win by quality, let's stack them with quantity. Long Chun snorted coldly, and his figure quickly retreated. Dragon Bone Evil Moon slashed forward and slashed 3 times in one breath. Boom, boom, boom. 3 knife shadows were shattered by Fan Ji's gun. But Fan Ji's figure also stopped because of these 3 attacks. The skills of ants, the strength of ants, ridiculous and boring. Well, it's time to let you see the true power of my Brahma lineage. Fan Ji sneered. Boom! A loud bang. A statue appeared behind Fan Ji, followed by the vast imperial power radiating, and imperial flames rose one after another. The imperial flames were densely packed, and every time an imperial flame appeared, Fan Tianda's imperial power and divine power would increase by 1 level. 103. When Long Chun saw the number of imperial flames behind Fan Ji, he was finally moved. The strong man of the painting sect had said before that among the divine seedlings, a strong man with 100 imperial flames was enough to kill him easily. Now, a strong man with more than 100 imperial flames appeared. Not counting the surging divine power on his body, the imperial power alone was enough to crush countless strong men in the 3rd level of the Emperor. I won't bully you. I only use the power of Emperor Flame. If you can survive my 10 moves, I will spare your life. Fan Ji stood in the sky, looking down at the earth, his face full of arrogance and wildness. OM. The imperial flames around Fan Ji trembled, and more than 100 imperial flames instantly merged into a golden fire ring. The violent imperial power swept out in all directions. The first move, Lingfeng piercing cloud stab. Fan Ji shouted coldly, and the silver spear shook violently, and the imperial flames rose. The spear turned into a phantom of thousands of miles and stabbed at Long Chun. This attack is comparable to the attack of Yanling Sword Saint. The son of Fan Tian is indeed a bit of a trick, but it's just a bit of a trick. Long Chun snorted coldly, holding the Dragon Bone Evil Moon in his hand, and slashed diagonally, and a straight crescent shot out. The purple crescent, separated from the blade, actually drew a strange arc in the void, like a boomerang, and cut on the spear halfway. Bang! The purple crescent exploded, and the spear just trembled slightly, still stabbing at Long Chun. At this time, Long Chun had already rushed forward, but he brushed past the spear and rushed straight to Fan Ji to kill. You have some tricks, but in front of absolute strength, your tricks are meaningless. The second move, thunder chasing waves. Fan Ji snorted coldly, and his spear paused in the void. A ball of thunder light, with him as the core, spread rapidly in all directions. Obviously, he didn't want to give Long Chun a chance to get close. I don't know if he is not good at close combat, or he feels that being approached by someone like Long Chun is a blasphemy to him. Facing Fan Ji's move, Long Chun's face showed a trace of ridicule, and he opened his left hand and slapped it. Seeing that Long Chun dared to resist his attack with his bare hands, Fan Ji's face was full of ridicule. This attack, seemingly simple, actually contains endless dark energy. Once triggered, it is enough to kill any Emperor 3-level strongman. Buzz! When Long Chun's big hand slapped on the thunder barrier, Long Chun's hand trembled violently, and the huge ball of thunder light trembled wildly. The explosion scene that Fan Ji expected did not appear. The huge ball of light shrank rapidly and turned into a fist-sized ball of light in Long Chun's hand in an instant. What? Fan Ji was finally moved. Long Chun actually absorbed his power. Give it back to you. Long Chun shouted, and the compressed ball of thunder flew out of his hand and instantly appeared in front of Fan Ji. Bang! Fan Ji swung the silver spear in his hand fiercely and smashed it on the ball of thunder. With a loud bang, he was shocked and retreated 3 steps. Swish! At the moment he retreated, Long Chun had already killed him, and the Dragon Bone Evil Moon slashed at him. Bang! Fanji resisted the attack of the Thunderball, and was not in a hurry. He turned his spear and blocked the dragon bone evil moon with the tail of the spear. He still had time to mock. Insignificant. Pa! What he didn't know was that Long Chen's knife was just a prelude to the next move. His left hand swung and slapped Fanji's arrogant face. Bang! Long Chen's slap had been accumulating power for a long time, and the power was extremely strong. Fanji's attention was focused on Long Chen's knife and his mocking mouth, but not on his face, so he was slapped away. Great! Long Chen finally slapped Fanji in the face and couldn't help but shouting excitedly. His biggest hobby was to slap his enemies in the face, especially those arrogant and self-important guys. The more arrogant they were, the better it felt to slap them. It was even more fulfilling than killing them. Long Chen. The violent killing intent swept across the heavens, thousands of roars. The world changed color. The power of faith and the power of the Emperor's flames ignited the whole world, and Fanji's roar resounded throughout the battlefield.